Hi, my name is Sabrina Wallace. I'm not an AI. I'm a real person. I am not a whistleblower, and I'm a cis female. How you doing? Let's pick an affirmation card. Why? Why not? Let's see what we got today. Ooh, spaceship meditation. Okay. Affirmation. See, it's here on the back. I am never alone in this world. I ask my space friends to guide me. Oh, hang on. Okay, I got one. Here's a space friend. Sorry, I know you have beautiful eyes. You know, all the people that get out there and they get to do what I'm doing now with their tarot cards and their visuals. And hang on, I got more space friends. She's kind of prettier. It's a rose quartz. Labradorite eyes again. Isn't that nice? Thank you. And what else do I have for space friends? Oh, I'm not showing you. You got funny eyeballs right now. See another space friend, elongated skull. Oh, my word. Okay, well, make it make sense. Because what I'm about to show you now has to do with your Social Security and you same people that scream and yell and have fits. You know, not the good people, not the nice people that are like, oh, rocks, geometry, sound, physics, biology, you don't have issues. But these religious folks and the people that are hiding their jobs, they got problems all day. So if it's easier for you to go, well, she's talking to her space friends or whatever, sure, go ahead. But I would heavily recommend that you disengage from something that we have all been brought up with: cognitive dissonance and the inability to talk about reality without having to get devolved into an emotional argument. It either is or it's not. It exists or it doesn't. It has market share or it doesn't. It's in the federal disability, whatever, or it's not. There's not room inside of what everyone claims they used to believe in, which is follow the money. Okay. And here on the channel, we follow that up with follow the deployment and the actual laws in Congress. Okay. So I'm going to try to be as nice about this as I can, but this is a very ugly situation. It's not hard. They stole human biology, put it into research and development during the Cold War, and then they gave it back to everybody on the National Institute of Health 10 years ago. It's called the human aura, 11 years now. And most people don't believe in the aura. They think that that's spiritual, like chakras and the Kabbalah, blah, blah, blah. That's your nervous system. The Kabbalah, the chakras, meridians, prana, chi, these are all names for your own bioelectricity. Now, rather than sit here and talk to you, I'm going to shrink this down and we're going to go to work now with actual brain power. Okay. Everybody has some. And some people, like I said, they got to go with the galactic federation and all this kind of weird goofiness. So here's where we're going to start. Hang on a minute. Darn it. I knew I forgot something. We're going to start with Mr. Altman here. Just making a note. Are you kidding me, WordPad? Really? And Mr. Altman, well, if you're not going to do it, then I'll do it this way. I don't care. Mr. Altman here is going to be talking to people about things that the rest of us know all about too. So Truthstream Media says, we stole all your knowledge and art, and now we're going to put a meter on it and sell it back to you. You're welcome.
Fundamentally, our business, and I think the business of every other model provider, is going to look like selling tokens. You know, they may come from bigger or smaller models, which makes them more or less expensive. They may use more or less reasoning, which also makes them more or less expensive. They may be running all the time in the background trying to help you out. They may run only when you need them if you want to pay less. They may work super hard, you know, spend tens of millions, hundreds of millions, someday billions of dollars on a single problem that's really valuable. But we see a future where intelligence is a utility like electricity or water, and people buy it from us on a meter and use it for whatever they want to use it for. The demand that we see for that seems like it's going to continue to just go like this. And if we don't have enough, we either can't sell it, or the price gets really high and it, you know, kind of goes to rich people, or society makes a bunch of sort of central planning decisions that I think almost always go badly about, you know, we're going to use our limited compute supply for this and not that. So the best thing to me throughout all the history of capitalism, innovation, whatever you want, is to just flood the market.
Yeah.
Okay, so we stole all your knowledge and art, and now we're going to put a meter on it and sell it back to you. You're welcome. Now, I said the same thing about the ability to feel your own skin. I said they are under your skin with our Pentagon core network connected to every single human body by law. Medical Body Area Network 2014. IEEE 2012 in Biomedical Engineering. Federal Communications Commission gives the Medical Body Area Network a clean bill of health. 2014, here we are, Federal Communications Commission. Now, here's where the problem is for me. Those of you that are in the IEEE, you know that we've had wireless pacemakers since 1999. Okay, let me zoom in on that for you. Medical Implant Communication Service, 1999. You know that the upgrade was back in 2012 for these body area networks. It's not a baby. It was all properly deployed with appropriate in 2009 Federal Communications Commission release of a notice of proposed rulemaking to get ready for it by November 2011. Now, this is also where, for me at least, I'm confused as to why that we're still in this position, lying to the public. You are lying by omission. You're claiming anomalous health incidents as if it's secret and mystical. And meanwhile, pardon my nose, over here in Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources, hang on a second. Okay, let me make sure that's still working too. Okay, so we got Fast Healthcare Interoperable Records here with our W-band blockchain. Okay, body area network. Try to keep that in mind. There are different types of body area networks. There are body area networks for entertainment. There are body area networks for your bio-tokenized economy, which is what Altman's referring to. And that all goes with your cryptocurrency. It's all something called distributed ledger technology. Is a decentralized, their favorite word, decentralized digital system for recording, sharing, and synchronizing transactions across a network of multiple nodes. And they claim those nodes are computers until they're not, until those nodes are body area networks on our core, our core networks of our Pentagon. Wireless body area network, June 2020. Okay. Blockchain, distributed ledger technology. No central authority. That's right. It ensures data integrity through consensus protocols, making records immutable, transparent, and secure, with blockchain being a common form. Distributed ledger technology. Okay. So there's your blockchain W-band for what? Healthcare, biomedical sensor devices, wireless communication, and innovation in other technologies for healthcare applications result in the evolution of that new paradigm. So then the other day, ARPA-H is going to supercharge a biosensor device development program as of March 10th, 2026. Launches program to supercharge biosensor device development with next generation platform. New Delphi program will advance more affordable wearable and ingestible biosensors. See, you guys didn't admit to the biosensors, and you keep claiming that you can clear biosensors, but you're not admitting MAC IDs, PicoNets, Bluetooth, free space optical. You're just going out there and scaring people with your microscopes because you can't do the following. Excuse me. Who are these people and what do they do? Okay. Now, before you think that I'm the only one that has a problem with this, I am not. Hang on. Where did it go? And there's another lady I want to show as well. Hang on. So, here, let me do it this way. Our children have nowhere to hide from the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, 6G, wireless intra-body nano communication. Okay. And now this is Corinne Nokel, and there was a lot of fallout between myself, her, and a whole bunch of other people last November for reasons that I'm sorry, I still don't know. I can't tell you. I have no idea. But I can tell you that Corinne has been consistent talking about the Cisco Yang that the rest of you won't talk about. And this is really dangerous, in my opinion, because our Cisco Yang development suites with NestConf, RestConf, etc., to you, because you don't even know what Cisco is, that's the Internet of Everything. Cisco is a huge physical hardware component of the Internet itself, period. And you're not going to get rid of that. You're not going to get around it. And you're not going to install a bunch of other hardware overnight. These are legacy systems that are integrated and always changing with other systems like Juniper, Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, the different Kubernetes containers that can play with different networks of different hardware, Bay networks. It doesn't matter until you get into other types of networks. But Cisco is the big backend. At your local layers, the cyber physical systems, that's your National Institute of Standards and Technology. Over here with your Department of Commerce, where you are the human in the box, connected to the core network of the Pentagon for 30 years of development. So here we are at the Internet of Everything. Now, the Internet of Everything, where's my cute little JPEG? You didn't give me your JPEG. Okay, hang on. The Internet of Everything very clearly delineates people. People process things and data. Join us to learn how it works. Yeah, that'd be nice. So here you are, connecting students, teachers, and everybody in a more beneficial way as your body area networks, processes with your data flow, the Internet of Things, which most people now understand is their Fitbit, their cell phone, etc., and data. So here's where the mental disconnect continues to be when it comes to, not you, when it comes to sensing, okay? Integrated sensing and communication, a 6G technology that allows a network to simultaneously transmit data and map its environment. When it comes to consent, they don't look at it the same way you do. They look at it as, how can you give your consent to being connected when they need to be watching all the time? Okay, hang on. Let me get down here, I think it was, to the algorithm unrolling use cases. And this sensing and actuation helps build a digital representation of the physical world called a digital twin, an unblinking network. Here we are. So we find consent as a legal basis for sensing infeasible at this point. And their example is that as the pedestrian being sensed by vehicle 2X, vehicle to everything, you don't have time to give your consent because the self-driving car has to be able to deal with you. So here's where the problem is. V2X. This V2X, Department of Transportation, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, Texas, New York, Arizona, Utah. This stuff is already deployed. It's called a, electronic corridor. It's for our drone systems, as well as all of your self-driving vehicles, intelligent, autonomous, electrified corridor. You have your data pods, microgrids, energy, edge AI, next generation for you cyberpunks, your C40 cities, your machine-to-machine open radio access networks, your resilient grid. And what does that say? Sensors. Now, for those of you that want more information on that, I did a show with Booma because some people from Texas asked the question about a digital ID that they didn't understand. How could that happen when they were told it wasn't here? They were still building it. They didn't have it. And the rest of us here on the channel tried real hard to explain. Not only do they have it, it's fully deployed. There's engineering with this that is a bunch of jobs by tons of college students with a pipeline direct from high school to careers. And they're not LARPing. This is our Department of Energy and our digital twins with the Government Accountability Office. Additionally, that is your NIST.gov. That is your Wiley Online Library, Nature articles. Yeah, with your digital twin and cybersecurity with your own biological signals, which come from your body. And there we are again with the same NIST and the same FCC, Federal Communications Commission, that I started with regarding when you don't tell people that you've already been under their skin since 1999, and you told them that's only if you have a pacemaker, which is not true at all. Biosignals, vital signs down telephone lines goes back to 2004. Now, this is an international conference on biosignals, which come from the body. Oh, you got rid of your JPEG? I like the JPEG. And this conference, here you go, in 2027, for example, the purpose of the International Conference on Bio-Inspired Systems and Signal Processing is to bring together researchers, professionals, and practitioners from multiple areas of expertise working at the intersection of engineering, mathematics, statistics, computer science, data science, biology, physics, and medicine. Yep. So as usual, when we're in this position with biosignals that people don't realize come from the body, measurable data originating from biological organisms representing electrical, chemical, or mechanical activity, such as heartbeats or neural activity, are crucial for monitoring health, diagnosing diseases. That's great. But what you don't understand is that they're pulling them from your body with something called air molecules and light and sound. And that's advanced signal processing. And we've got multiple ways to do it. You should look up biosignals and then go watch some videos. You can look for other videos in deeper detail on the Rumble channel, my channel, Synergy. Okay, but biosignals come from the body, and that is part of the data that is stored in the digital twins for the body area network. There are multiple ways to pull biosignals from the body, and all of them have to do with how biosensors actually work. You don't cleanse a biosensor by drinking anything. You don't cleanse a biosensor with just a wearable. You don't cleanse a biosensor that way, because biosensors are ubiquitous. They use pressure, electricity, light, sound, chemistry, optical, acoustic, that's your sound, and your thermal. This is just one taxonomy of the human activity that goes to the type of sensor that goes to a kinematic, optical, chemical, electrical, acoustic, or thermal signal. So your biosignals are going into that digital twin. The digital twin system is using your same databases that you're all used to with technology, the GitHub, bioinformatics. The biosignals go into a database, and then a human using machine learning is going to log into way more than your face. They go under your skin in intra-body communication, which is over 30 years old. And this is where the problem remains. People don't know that. They think that it is an anomalous health incident. Nope. fully deployed for your healthcare all the way back to 2012, appropriately updated every step of the way. Let me show you what I mean. Back here, medical design briefs in 2019. Oh, excuse me, this is the wrong one. This is the one with Patel. 2018, medical design briefs. This is a magazine type of thing that goes to a doctor's office. Just an example. In hospitals and healthcare institutions, the sheer amount of patient metrics to track for the staff of doctors and nurses can be seen as a point of contention. Lawsuits based on the grounds of negligence are a risk that all healthcare practitioners take. Furthermore, there is an estimated 200,000 patients that die in the United States annually from medical errors. Introducing wireless patient monitoring in these environments can potentially mitigate the risks that are innately involved in an environment geared at treatment and maintenance of sick people. There is always the potential for cyber attacks. There is always the potential for cyber attacks, but the rewards may outweigh the risks. What are we talking about here? Wireless patient monitoring. Oh, what is that called? Remote patient monitoring with CMS Medicare. Wow, how does it work? Well, let's find out. Remote patient monitoring by itself is a digital technology, uses digital technology such as wearable sensors, blood pressure cuffs, and scales to collect, record, and electronically transmit health data from patients to providers in real time. Now, the problem with this AI description coming from Health and Human Services is it allows your grifters and your frauds to keep telling you that you need a wearable. Biosignals do not need a wearable. You can use the Wi-Fi. You can use different types of networks that are not confined to your home, not at all. They're only there for places like Department of Homeland Security. And instead of telling you that, they keep telling you that you need a wearable. And I'm going to prove to you right now that you don't and show you why. The next sentence is why. This allows for proactive management of chronic conditions, diabetes, heart disease, and acute care. That's at-home patient care for palliative care, at-home health care, which has been around since 2014. These are jobs. It's fully deployed. Stay with me. So you're improving patient engagement and reducing hospital visits. People think telehealth. They're thinking I get on the phone, see, I put on my device, a blood pressure cuff, any one of these devices. Yeah, that was the old way of doing it. See, now all they need is your W-band blockchain. That is a body connected to the cloud with MAC IDs and wireless sensor networks with the Zigbee and the Bluetooth with your 6G communication that is using sensing, which is why they waived your right to consent a couple years ago. Again, if you don't know any of this and you're freaked out, you don't need to be. We've already went over this on the channel. There are resources available to you right now. This is the electronic corridor PDF. It's free. I'll leave you the link. All you have to do is go to the link when it comes to your consent. So when people scream and they want to go spend a bunch of money on a lawyer, they want to go and, think they're going to scare some Congress people, you need to understand what is deployed so you know where you need standing in court. Welcome to your Golden Dome and Healthcare 4 and 5.0. What is Healthcare 4.0? Wow, it says W-band. Yeah. That's amazing. Let's take a look. It's an MDPI in August of 2023 with the same pictures that we've been showing here on the channel for almost 4 years now. Internet of Medical Things in Healthcare 4.0. Trends, requirements, challenges, and research directions. Sensors MDPI Journal, Volume 23, Issue 17 in August of 2023. Okay. So then it's going to tell you in 2023 that Healthcare 4.0 is a recent e-health paradigm associated with the concept of Industry 4.0. Oh, what's that? The other thing we've been complaining about on the channel the entire time. It's a cyber physical backbone that went fully deployed in 2017 that your blockchain people couldn't talk about. They kept telling you to email the IEEE that somebody was going to stop something, that it was a plan. It wasn't really here. They didn't really have it. They hadn't really built it. And those of us from the industry of cyber biological security, smart agriculture, healthcare 4.0, here we are, and it's 2017. So what we do here on the channel to make it a little easier for those of you who are horribly psyoped, grifted, and gaslit is we say, tell you what, take a breath. Come on, take a breath. It is what it is. This is business. There's no reason to freak out. Just let's deal with it. All right. We're going to get in our little TARDIS, our time machine. We're going to go back to 2017. All right. And that's where your cyber physical systems with your Department of Commerce. Did you forget? Because it's the same. It's the same when I presented it with Booma almost a year ago. It's 6 months ago, whatever. It's the same. Yeah. The National Institute of Standards and Technology with the United States Department of Commerce, the very same, that is helping the Department of Transportation with all their deployment with vehicle to everything, self-driving cars and pedestrians, which is why sensing and actuation allowing you to just randomly consent is infeasible, because they're already fully deployed with cars, pedestrians, the power grid, and every bit of water, air, soil, everything you can imagine on these cyber physical systems. Pardon me, I'm chewing on my cat hair. And the reason for that, it has to do with this right here, your trillion sensors networks with all your smart dust. That's the layman's terms for the DARPA Microelectromechanical Systems Office, which is your microsystems technology office. And the smart dust has been upgraded several times because microelectromechanical systems, that's the real name for your smart dust, okay, are miniature high-precision devices that integrate mechanical and electrical components on a single substrate, acting as sensors or actuators. Now, that actuation is a big deal. The reason that it's a big deal is because of how long we've been logging in for pacemakers and insulin pumps in order to have an ability to get under the skin and physically make a change to the central nervous system since 1996, personal area network with the MIT and our Federal Communications Commission, pacemakers and wearables with the medical implant communication system. You have to have standards of galvanic coupling, standards of intra-body communication, standards of appropriate microwave, millimeter wave, terahertz, and optical and ultrasound cellular perturbation for something called molecular communication, also standardized in 2014 with the same IEEE Communications Society. And who are they? Who is the IEEE? I feel like we're playing Jeopardy again. Communications Society. It's one of their biggest ones. A leading global nonprofit organization founded in 1952, dedicated to advancing all communications and networking technologies, with over 30,000 members across 149 countries, connecting professionals from industry and academia to foster innovation in 5G, Internet of Things, and wireless technologies. Your industrial, electrical, and biomedical and electronics engineers, I'm serious, the IEEE EMBS for something called magnetic human body communication, which is where your aura went. But you don't know that because if I click on images, you'll tell me it's Kirlian photography. And then I will draw your attention to the fact that this is channel characterization for biomedical engineering for the Internet of Bodies, the medical body area networks, straight out of Compton. No, straight out of the National Archives. So straight out of Congress, y'all. And that same IEEE transactions on biomedical engineering comes to us from the IEEE Engineering, Medicine, and Biology Society. No Reptar, no underground bases, no hidden bunkers. Nope, jobs. Jobs for high school students and college students. Wow. Channel characterization and magnetic human body communication. What is human body communication? It uses the human body as a conductive medium to transmit data between wearable or implantable devices, either or. So you put your Fitbit on, same system. You got a pacemaker, same system. Non-contact human activity recognition radar. I don't have a wearable and I don't have a pacemaker. Not a problem. We can take the heartbeat, the interpulse interval, the biotensegrity, the gait, all using the air molecules. Not a problem. Feature extraction, the microdoppler, different neural networks, some graph math. We good to hook. Bioinformatics, data acquisition with human activity recognition radar. Radar pre-processing with your microdoppler. Feature extraction into the digital twin model. Enhance the feature. Line it up, aim and fire. Lining it up with classification, that's your Palantir ontology with things like your pheno packets for having the federated AI and the agentic AI be able to communicate with the appropriate bioinformatics, biosecurity, cyber biosecurity, and your procedure, treatment, therapeutic regimen, agent, dosage, your genomics, your omics, your entire genome, what diseases you've had. Yep, this is your electronic integrated disease surveillance system. Welcome to your CDC. Worldwide, by the way. Okay. And this is where your COVID, for all of you that still can't understand what they've done here, they switched you to electronic medicine. They just didn't tell you that. They're not going to. I mean, they are. I'm going to take you there in Medicare and such. But if you're not dealing with your healthcare yourself, you have no idea because they're not telling you. They're telling you to slap that wearable on. They're telling you by selling it to you with things like the Mendy headset, the Sensate wearable vagal stimulators. These are products. These people will admit to. And when you ask them, how does it work? They don't know. We do here on the channel. We understand very clearly because the software that is written for these devices is delineated in cyber biological security. But to most people, it's magic. They just put it on. They do the little health app on their phone. Here's another one, the Mendy headset, which is being recommended to 12-year-olds to augment their behavior. It is literally using cognitive neurology. And I'm going to ask again, how does your brain-computer interface here with your Mendy headset access your neurons under your skin? Because you're not cracking your skull open. You're putting on a headset that's got little sensors right here that read your activity, electroencephalogram in a closed loop with your cell phone. Okay? How is that happening? Same intra-body communication. How do we know for sure? Neural signal transmission over tissues. But they can't do it without me wearing a Mendy headset. I'm so sorry. Did somebody mislead you? Probably. Now, why would that be? An intelligent and energy-efficient wireless body area network to control the coronavirus in 2021. What's it using? The Internet of Everything, your long-range LoRa radar, and you, your body. How did that happen? Well, did you tell anybody that you hooked everyone to the cloud? No. Do you used an intensivist in the hospital, though? Yep. And that's not Kirlian photography. This is your human biofield, which is in biophysics. It's been on the Institute of Health since 2015. And it's a physiology now, medical physiology, cell biology, and biophysics. So the human aura is called the human biofield in medical physiology, cell biology, and biophysics. In quantum computing companies, it's called the quantum field. Inside of where they don't talk to you about it professionally, they'll call it anything but the human biofield. And they use all this different terminology to keep people confused because they don't want you to know that it's your heart cells and your neurons. Examples of clinically relevant biofields are the electrical and magnetic fields generated by arrays of heart cells and neurons that are detected respectively as electrocardiogram, magnetocardiogram, electroencephalogram, or magnetoencephalogram. Oh, so we're not going to talk about how we're reading your neurons or your heart tissue. We're going to tell you it's woo-woo, scare the crap out of you with religions and hokum and fairy tales. And that way, when someone does tell you that that's what we're using in order to log in with something called a biocyber interface, then you're not going to believe that. You're going to think that the aliens are coming, a religion is on its way, and they're logging in and out of your neurons. They're logging in and out of your skin with bioelectronic medicine. And they're doing it for college. They're doing it for companies. They're doing it June 2021 for the advances in bio-nano things, Internet of bio-nano things, healthcare and technology that the students down at Cambridge and engineering are learning all about. But all the adults in my country are given ghost stories and alien fairy tales. Example, natural Internet of bio-nano things, such as human body nano networks, bacterial nano networks. That would be natural networks inside the body. Bacteria-based biosensors using molecules to log into your gut microbiome. 2018 cyber physical labs with Georgia Institute of Technology, Northeastern University, Johns Hopkins. There's that molecular communication in 2018. Well, of course, because it's back here in 2014, not a problem. This is called deployment. This is called jobs. And when you have jobs and deployment, you're not going to get around it telling ghost stories. You're going to delay the inevitable. The longer that you go without knowing what it really is and how it really works, body, area, networks, the worse it is for you, not somebody else, just you. And that's why so many good people in our community have worked really hard to help the other people out there who are being psychologically operated on, told all the different stories, etc. Human body communication is using your body as the wire. Capacitive or galvanic coupling, yeah. Inductive, capacitive, and galvanic coupling, yep. Hang on. No, you give me back my human body communication for a minute. Okay, so all of that coupling in all these different ways, Purdue University, college students, etc. All you have to do is Google what is human body communication. Now, this is a mega review for our channel. We're used to this. But the problem is that on the YouTube, y'all haven't seen much of what I do because people copy my videos for 3-4 years now. And I just got here. So here's where I take people. 2 things. Number 1, the wiring diagram of your aura, your biofield, is the electron, the next great frontier for biomedical engineers. That's right. In your IEEE Circuits and Systems Society, they're going to be using microelectromechanical systems with point of care for sensing and actuating to deploy a physical change for those pacemakers and insulin pumps for your healthcare 4.0. That is how the system is deployed. That is how it works. And you're not getting around that. That's your Internet of bio-nano things. And the reason it's biological or nano is because they can use either or to log into your gut bacteria. What are they using? A body area network. No maybes. Sorry. Federal Register don't lie, y'all. I mean, there was 6 hours of this constant back and forth when we took a look at this in the FCC and all the tertiary communities. So 2 things. 1, you should probably listen to this so you understand they have a wiring diagram of your brain, the brain connectome, and the electron is your biofield. 2, turning the body into a wire. Now, this is 6 years ago now where they talk about disconnecting Vice President Dick Cheney's pacemaker in 2007. So here's where the problem is. Back here in 2017, remember, we're in our time machine. The cyber physical systems industrial side went ahead to blur the fabric of business and physical worlds and kickstart an era of system-wide collaboration and information-driven interactions among all these business owners. They're called stakeholders of the value chain. And cyber-physical systems are expected to empower the transformation of industry and business at large to a digital, adaptive, networked, and knowledge-based industry with significant long-term impact on the economy, society, environment, and citizens. That's right. So instead of telling you that in 2017, fully deployed, that means you're not turning it off, you're not going backwards. So that is 2017, March 2017, 9 years ago. And nobody could tell you. Come on, let's be real here. We're talking about human augmentation. That is where the problem remains. You guys didn't admit that. You lied. You told everyone they didn't have it. It's not here. It's an emerging technology. And I said, have you ever looked that up before on the Wikipedia? Because transhumanism is in the lower right-hand corner, and you told everybody they didn't have it, it's not here, but cryptocurrency is listed, as is 26 years of nanotechnology. So how is it that we still have this technology? It's brand new, novelty, nobody knows, but how many crypto bros are out there right now having a hallucination using their wallet with a NASDAQ? So now the NASDAQ is in a hallucination too. Yeah, that's incredible. That's what I said. They said, oh, it's a Kurzweilian fantasy. And I'm like, dude, I know a ton of people with cryptocurrency. I know a ton of people using AI. I know a ton of people who know what biotechnology is. What are you talking about? Why is it that our media is always treating us like we're 2 years old? Seriously, the neoteny and the infantilization is severe. Okay, it's still emerging. Technologies whose development, practical application, you mean like using my Bitcoin? Yeah, it's not here. It's largely unrealized. Excuse me. Words and definitions. What does unrealized mean? Not achieved or created. So I made the joke. I said, hey, Bitcoin people, every time you use your Bitcoin cryptocurrency wallets, you're having a hallucination. It's not here. It doesn't exist. It's a Kurzweilian fantasy. Meanwhile, 26 years of nanotechnology. How much AI and robotics, biotechnology? Okay, let me show you why this is. Okay, this is on you, whoever you are. And that's good news, actually. It'll help you out. So here we are with the Internet of Things and digital twin applications in the health sector at the head of the world. The ISO standards and the IEC work for something called the ITU. If you don't know who that is, that's the International Telecommunication Union, which is the UN specialized agency for digital technology established in 1865. Let me zoom in on that for you. It's not a mistake. It's been there that long. With 194 member states and 1,000 members, it coordinates radio spectrum, satellite orbits, and sets technical standards. Its purpose is connecting the world and advancing digital transformation for everyone, particularly in developing regions. So if you want to know if something really is being deployed in information technology or information communication technology, you go here because there's forward deployment, there's consistent redundancy deployment, there's a deployment that they've already had in legacy systems, and you'll know because they have committees, they have oversight, and it's all organized. So that's what we did here on the channel, which is why when you go through your document for your lack of consent, you're going to be on market share for the digital twins. You're going to be on nanotheranostics. You're going to be on that government accountability office. You are not going to be on somebody's blog. I said the United States Government Accountability Office. Yes, I did. Digital twins, virtual models of people and objects 2023. Yeah, well, like I've said over and over, I don't understand why you guys did this way. It's terrible. Digital twin simulations have been simmering for half a century, but the past decade's advances in GPUs, AI, and software platforms are heating up their adoption amid this higher fidelity era of more immersive experiences. A digital twin is a virtual representation a true-to-reality simulation of physics and materials of a real-world physical asset or system, which is continuously updated. That's your United States Space Force Chief Technology Innovation Officer and your Senior Data Science Manager at this massive acronym with some PhD. Oh, looks like the Navy. Isn't that great? Here. N8WCTSD.mil. Navy. Okay, I want to know what is your acronym here? Naval Air Warfare Center Training Systems Division. Wow. So this is your Tuesday, the 28th of November in 2023 IITSEC, which is modeling software for the Pentagon, which is very clear. They've had digital twins for 50 years. That's what half a century is. Okay. Please see other videos for living weapons in the Air Force Research Laboratory, which is in this same document. Gotta get my mouse fixed. This is driving me nuts. Okay. So as you can imagine, when we come in here to a paper from a PDF, actually, talking about the Internet of Things and digital twin applications, there are companies out there right now like Siemens Healthineers that are talking all about the digital twin. We've shown this on the channel repeatedly. So let's say that you have no idea. Why does that matter? Maybe they're just a startup company, right? Who is Siemens as a company? Okay. Siemens AG is a leading German technology powerhouse established in 1847, specializing in industry, infrastructure, transportation, and healthcare, transforming the everyday by focusing on industrial automation like a cyber physical backbone, digitalization, smart infrastructure, and sustainable transport solutions, combining real-world engineering with digital technology. Oh, so they're not LARPing. No, they are not. This is a huge company with mega money, okay? This is, we're talking drones, the Golden Dome, trillion sensors, huge money, lots of industrial regulation. They've been around a long time. Here's an overview with Forbes magazine. If you're thinking, hey, they've gone away, they've been around so long, whatever, you can look up Siemens on the NASDAQ. Siemens AG engages in the production and supply of system of systems engineering. You're going to see that referenced everywhere. System of systems. Okay. Common reference. Systems for power generation, like the power grid, power transmission, and medical diagnoses. Why would medical diagnoses be attached to the power grid? Because you as the human are attached to the power grid. Government Accountability Office, isn't it great? With your digital twin. Welcome to Healthcare 4.0 with the Internet of Medical Things. That's right. So let's go to the top of our intra-body communication paper here with computer networks, LSVR, courtesy of Science Direct, intra-body communication for nervous system applications, current technologies and future directions, the Internet of Medical Things, watching every body area network so that they can protect you. Where? At the level of the Internet of Everything, at the cyber physical with 1906.1 nano network, Cisco Yang protocol, connected to the power grid with oversight by your Department of Transportation, your Department of Commerce, your NIST, your ANSI, your DHS. You are the body area network for network-centric warfare and your new Healthcare 4.0. Healthcare 4.0, your Internet of Medical Things, and you are connected to that power grid, whether you like it or not. So, Siemens Healthineers, hang on, let me see if I can, there we go. I figured it out now. And I encourage you to watch the video. Operating through the following segments: power and gas, energy management, building technologies, digital factories, power transmission, smart grid solutions. Yep. So when you come to something like this, And it tells you the Internet of Things, the Internet of Health applications, digital twins, digital twin applications. And then it's the biodigital convergence that got started 26 years ago, a 20-year-old concept. Nanotechnology, biotechnology, information technology, and cognitive technology. This document, see this right here, this little blue link from 2003. This is a white paper. Now, I'm tired of hearing the excuses from people who do not read, and they seem to have nihilism. They're addicted to it. All white papers are from the seed of Satan. They're all worthless. That is not true. These white papers are basically schematics for what these people have already deployed. So when you get out there and you say, these systems don't exist and they don't have the engineering, it's too big, it's too much, they didn't do it, that's because you're the one that hasn't went into any of these white papers. So what I encourage people to do is find a white paper that makes sense to you. Like, that's not my favorite one, but you could go there if you wanted to. Or you could take Converging Technologies for Improving Human Performance. This is human augmentation, by the way. Improving human performance is human augmentation, changing your body from the inside out. We'll get there. Don't worry, it's further down in the same document. So what we do here on the channel is when people said it's not here, they don't have it, and they wouldn't admit biosensors, and they wouldn't admit omics with all the proteomics, epigenomics, genomics, etc. And we're sitting there looking at human augmentation, biobots, biohacking, cyborgs, and we're like, this is not hard. Like, all you need to do is get in here to these different red numbers with the ISO standards and look it up. If it doesn't exist, it's not going to be there. So, okay, here we go. I got iTech and the IEC homepage. Looks like they got a bunch of different standards here. Surface active agents for ISO TC 91. Standardization in the field of surface active agents and mixtures containing one or more surface ingredients, conventional components of soap or detergent. Under what? Hang on a minute. So this is, hang on, I'm glad for that. Watch. See how it has a question mark? So you're looking at ISO and you're like, well, what does this have to do with bioelectronics? And notice that it's broken out all over the place in these other committees and standards. So what I do is I'm like, okay, I want to know about the bioelectronics reference. Where did it change? Where is it now? Why is it coming up with soap agents in Iran? So I can go to, it looks like the IEC web store, because they sell the technical reports that they write. Technical cleanliness. Oh, okay. Standardization in the field of wearable electronics and technologies, which include patchable materials, devices, implantable materials. Okay, but this is coming off the IEC. 2019 Korea TC 124. So anytime it has a question mark next to it, it's already been broken out by committee and they've changed it. Why? Because they change and update with their committees constantly. So this is from 2023. And the reason that I use it is so that you can find the most recent data for whatever it is you're into. So let's grab another one and see what's changed. ISO TC 276, organ and human body on a chip. Biotechnology, we've been here before. Standardization in the field of biotechnology processes that includes the following topics with a chairperson until the end of 2028. Biobanks, bioresources, bioprocessing, data processing, and your ISO TC 276 biotechnology will work closely with related committees in order to identify standardization needs and gaps. So when you tell people they don't have it, it's not here, they're not doing it, and then you don't bother to look up who in the world, Carmen Sandiego, that actually has the power with the committees, the jobs, the people, the purpose, the market share to do it, it's real easy to sit on your butt and pretend. But for those of us that are dealing with Social Security, Medicare today, we don't have that luxury. And again, we'll get there in a minute. So we have a network-centric warfare doctrine. We have an Internet of Things with an Internet of Everything with appropriate Cisco security. And we still have everybody's mouth glued shut about these body area networks that are deploying with digital twins on the least of us, Social Security, disability. It's pretty bad. Yeah, I know. especially given that they're good to go and they've been deployed since 2017. Now the Department of Transportation and all the rest of them with their electronic corridors, drone systems, golden domes, they're good to go too. And your drone systems are also part of your healthcare that you didn't ask for, but it's already deployed. Your 6G, sensing, which is why you don't have a right to consent. You see all this? Medical data, smart healthcare, blockchain, your phenotype patents with your patient metrics, your digital twin with your data collection, and they're going to cure every disease. Here's your sensing layer, the transmission layer, your data management layer, and your application layer. Nerds, what are you using right now in computer world? If I go there for data, what am I looking at? Orchestration. Does that have something to do with your data control planes? Sure does. What does that have to do with 6 and 5G and the Cisco Yang? Oh, and that Cisco Yang that Corinne is talking about, what does that have to do with? Software-defined networking, network function virtualization means that you can change the air molecules to change the network. You don't need to get into the hardware. Wow. And can you tell people now about the standards with 1906.1? Excuse me. That it, as in the IEEE Society in 2015 with 1906.1, that is your standard nanoscale metrology measurement for logging in under the skin with nanotechnology networks. That's why what I'm about to show you is so well known, so deployed, and nobody's nervous and nobody's worried about it because it's jobs. Jobs with appropriate cybersecurity upgrades every step of the way. Your biology is tethered to that cyber physical cloud system via your biosignals, W-band 802.15.6, and nano network standards for precision AI healthcare from 10 years ago. So, you didn't tell anybody that you've been working on pacemakers with the medical implant communication system since 1999. You didn't tell anybody about the wireless medical telemetry service. The FCC is rather clear about all of that. So they upgraded to the medical body area networks way back here in 2014 with appropriate upgrades out to all the different types of connectivity with the smart and the Internet of Things and the power grid. And that Internet of Medical Things on the industrial side, the industrial Internet of Medical Things, is watching your nervous system because your body is the network, your body is the node, your body is the tower. Your body is where the biosignal is coming from in order for them to extract those feature values, deduce the signal, and get busy. In order for them to extract the biological signal, the biosignal starts in the body with a digital twin. Every time guaranteed, not a maybe. The biosignal comes first. That's why on the channel, I teach people about the human biofield because I can tell you all about this tech till I'm blue in the face. They're not going to give you access to it because it's government controlled. So just like TruthStream Media is telling you that they took away or rather they are taking away art and they're going to meter intelligence and all that. Yes. And they hooked you to the cloud. Yes. And they are under your skin at the level of your cells with quantum circuits, photonic circuits, that's light, and organic circuits, molecules. Yes. At the DARPA Smart Dust office. Yes. So when you see the videos I'm about to show you, and your mind wants to drive you into the ground, telling you what they've been telling you. They don't have it. It's not here. It's been here since Vietnam. The military is 30 years ahead, and your truth or grifter friends decided to leave you 12 years behind. Now, let's watch some videos, please. And YouTube, I hope I'm doing this right. If I get flagged, I'll know, but I'm trying my best.
AI, artificial intelligence, taking over doctors, taking over the medical profession. I do believe that this isn't the stuff of science fiction. I think it may be well on the cards. And I'm going to explain to you how on so many levels this is very disappointing, but I want to really focus on how this says more about the medical profession than it does about artificial intelligence. You got that? This says more about the current state of the medical profession than it does about artificial intelligence. You're all familiar with artificial intelligence. You hear it being talked about all the time. Maybe you're already using some artificial intelligence, ChatGPT. And I personally disagree that AI should take over doctors. To me, being a doctor is all about humanity. It's about one-on-one connection. But yet here we are, where if you go online, you will hear a lot of chatter, not just from technology people, but even from patient advocacy groups, almost relishing the idea that AI will take over doctors. How did we get here? Let's really think about this, because we have gone from a situation a few decades ago where the vision of a doctor that many people had, this wasn't even that long ago. I grew up with it. Many of you will remember the old school doctor who came to your house with their little doctor bag. They knew you. They knew the family. They knew the community. And it was actually pretty difficult to get prescriptions out of these doctors. They had good old-fashioned common sense. They would scribble a note on a piece of paper, and they took a much more holistic approach. What on earth happened to those days? Because now, a lot of people's experience of doctors, especially in an office setting, I do actually think that we're very good with acute care in hospitals. Actually, the United States is second to none in terms of emergency management. But as for chronic disease management, as for what goes on in doctor offices up and down the country, we're in a situation where doctors have been reduced to basically what I call almost technology bots, medical bot doctors, glued to their screens most of the time, entering data, following protocols. Think about this. In a few decades, we have gone from that good old-fashioned old school doctor to a doctor who's now glued to their computer screen. So is it any wonder that people are talking about AI replacing doctors? Because if the majority of a doctor's job nowadays is simply to be inputting data, basically be a glorified data entry clerk, mindlessly following whatever protocol is thrown at them, barely making eye contact. And like I do like to emphasize, I don't think that doctors are bad people. I think most doctors are good people and they go in with good intentions to medical school, but something has gone really badly wrong with the medical profession. So the next obvious logical question is, if we're in a situation where the vast majority of people experiencing healthcare nowadays have this experience that, oh, we go to a doctor, they barely look us in the eye, they're looking at their computer screen, they're not sitting down with us, they're not treating us in a holistic way, focusing on root causes, then let's take things a step further. Why can't that doctor just be replaced by AI? Maybe AI is actually going to be much better. Maybe we can tailor AI to our own individual preferences rather than getting the views of a doctor who is so one-dimensional. And that's why I say this is so very sad. Because to me, medicine is about humanity. It's about empathy. It's about understanding the fears of our patients. And that's something that AI will never be able to replace. But when we're in a situation where so many people are almost relishing, they really are. When you look online, people are really looking forward to this, thinking, wow, I'll be able to get quick care. I'll be able to get care tailored to me. It won't feel like a protocol is just being forced upon me. I can take my time. How far have we moved away from Hippocrates? The ideals of Hippocrates, the father of medicine from 2,500 years ago, who was all about being holistic, all about food as medicine, which should be basic common sense, not running for the prescription pad, thinking that there's a pill for every ill. And the medical profession, in my opinion, and it pains me to say this, is getting exactly what it deserves. And there is going to be so much upheaval in the field of medicine. And this is all self-inflicted. When you have a profession that has moved in such an awful direction, that has sold out in so many ways to big business, big pharma, big government, big insurance, this is what happens next. Can we reclaim the humanity in medicine? Can the medical profession get its act together? We're running out of time. But sadly, I think tens of thousands of doctors are completely stuck in the system. Patients are getting a suboptimal experience across the Western world. And technology is advancing faster than we could ever imagine. So I don't know what the future holds. Nobody knows what the future holds. But I can tell you this, that there is a huge percentage of the population that cannot wait for AI to do a lot of what doctors are doing. And shame on the medical profession that that has happened, because this should be one job which is above even talk of AI replacing it. But yet, here we are. And that is largely due to the failures of the medical profession. People shouldn't even want AI to be their doctor. I'm sure many of you watching, you dread the thought, but maybe you're in such a situation that you can't find good holistic doctors near you. The doctors that you do see barely spend any time with you. They're throwing protocols at you. Everything seems very rigid. It's like an assembly line. And long gone are the days of that good old school doctor who would come to your house with their doctor bag, and wouldn't be completely trapped by protocols. They'd be using common sense, and it felt more human then. So there's a lot that the medical profession needs to think about, but I think the medical profession is in huge trouble with AI. And if you think that certain specialties are above being taken over by AI, then think again. I don't think that we're far off AI robots doing almost perfect surgery on people. Now, that may sound fanciful, but if you had a human there overseeing everything, similar to an airplane is basically being driven by computer and there's just a pilot there watching over things most of the time. In fact, most flights nowadays I've heard could be done completely by computer, but obviously nobody wants to sit on a plane if there's no human there. But we're very close to having robotic surgery, which due to AI is going to be absolutely perfect. Radiologists, can anybody give me one good reason why a computer won't be able to read an image better than the human eye? I think that's very close. I mean, radiologists will probably just be supervising AI. So big change ahead. But at the end of the day, this is about you long-suffering people who perhaps you're at an age where you need more healthcare. Staying away from healthcare and doctors is not an option for you. You want to be getting good medical advice. Maybe health problems are starting to creep in. But at any age, a situation could happen where doctors are needed. And my wish is that the medical profession goes back to the principles of Hippocrates, because if they do that, then even the idea of AI will seem ridiculous. Thank you, everybody, for watching. What do you think about what I've just said? Whether you agree with me or disagree?
So I'll be talking about this electromagnetic perspective to the analysis and design of MIMO antenna system for 5G and beyond. So I hope that I am audible. In case there is any issue, I will like request Kirtipriya or Mahesh, Dr. Mahesh, to just inform me so that I can try to resolve it. So as you can see, this beautiful workshop that is consisting of speakers from several backgrounds from industry and some of the veterans of our like field. And the main theme of this workshop is basically on 5G. And as I thought that from antenna engineer perspective, we should be talking about a little bit on the antenna technology, multiple antenna technology that has actually revolutionized the communication systems from 1G to 5G. So MIMO, that is multiple input, multiple output, that is one of these key enabling technology for the 5G. As we before 5G, also for the 4G long-term evolution, there was MIMO, and now we are expecting the MIMO to be in much bigger scale. And also currently we should be aware about that we are currently on the process of going towards 6G in terms of research, and a lot of groups both in industry as well as academia are looking into that. Now, myself being from an antenna background, I thought that I would provide some electromagnetic perspective to this analysis and design and of these MIMO antenna systems. So electromagnetic perspective, by that I mean there will be some of the proliferations or some of the amalgamations of concept with computational electromagnetics as well as analytical techniques to evaluate certain parameters for these MIMO antenna systems as a whole. So I would start by giving, I think, see my slide change, it's slightly delayed. So I'll start by some discussion on the evolution of 0th generation to the 5th generation and why this MIMO is needed. Then I'll be talking a little bit about some of the insights on this pattern diversity MIMO antenna design, some of the works that we did and we are currently doing. I will be talking about that. Then I will discuss about the later part, that the electromagnetic aspects, both computational as well as some of the analytical framework that we will be using in evaluating these MIMO antenna system parameters. And finally, I will touch upon some new technologies for the 6G implementation, and also some of the research that I am doing, and several of my peers in IIC and other places in the world, they are also focusing on that technology. So I hope I have around about 1 hour for the talk. We can probably have some discussion. So I'll try to move fast with the main content, and I can maybe take up some questions and discuss about the various issues. So before, I thought that just instead of making it a like a simple boring lecture, I will just take you through my own journey a little bit, and I'll just like collected some of the snapshots from my undergrad life. I did my undergrad in Jadavpur University, and this was almost 10 years back. And after that, I went for the graduate studies in IIT Kanpur. So there I did my master's and PhD. So I worked on this multi-band and wideband MIMO antenna system design, and I worked on the implementation part as well as the characterization part in far field and near field. And after that, I like to.
I hope you're paying attention with your time machine, because he just mentioned his undergraduate life in 2010 and 11. And then he showed his time in 2018 with your near field and far field channeling with your MIMO. For those of you that remember, your unblinking digital twin network here with your algorithm unrolling, okay? And your MIMO, multiple input, multiple output. Now here on the channel, we know it as bingo card time, with all your Bluetooth free space optical using air molecules and scatterers to watch you with human activity recognition radar through your own house. A single moving person, not an F-35. Extensive research showed that the physiological response of human tissue to exposure to low frequency electromagnetic fields is the induction of an electric current in the body segments. This is why I do not advocate for certain creators that only talk about extremely low frequency, or they only talk about graphene, or they only talk about clathrin or whatever. They're leaving out the entirety of the body, which is what they're working with. So when they induce a current in the body, and they can retransmit radio frequency or not use radio frequency at all, we're in a whole different paradigm in which the body itself is the network. The body itself is what they're watching. They are not watching your phone. They're watching your blood, tissue, and bone. And this is where the problem continues to be, because y'all out there said the military is 30 years ahead. And I said, then you are 12 years behind. And I don't know why. And we're still here. Well, Sabrina, that's not a problem. It's a huge problem. We're not even there yet. We have to get to Social Security so that you can understand what you're listening to. Hang on. Now, as this guy, because he's talking real soft, and then he's going through his graduate life and cellular communication, 1942, military grade portable AM FM radios. Now, how many of you knew that your brick phone in the 80s was the precursor? Bell System introduced the first commercial mobile telephone system in 1946. And here's your brick phone that I'm referring to with Motorola in 1984. 1984. So, oops. Here we are in 80 and 90 and 2000, 2010, 2020, and beyond. And the 5G's already been out there since 2020. And the 6G is in test beds in full standardization mode. And that's called deployment. Sub 6G gigahertz, millimeter wave, macro cell, small cell. Yeah. Now, this is a video that I'll be going over. Here's your hyperspace cube and your hyperspace math. This is a video I'll be going over in detail on a live with the X, etc. But I wanted to put this here for those of you that still don't get it. When you lie about deployment and it's security by obscurity, or there's some other reason that you think it's a smart idea to tell people there's no 5G, there's no 6G. This was the point of my video the other day here on the YouTube, because those of you that keep doing this, you're not helping. And some of you are truly, in my opinion, trying to be helpful. So if you're trying to be helpful, you need to be over here in actual deployment. You cannot continue to spin people in rabbit holes about aliens and cryptids without getting into synthetic biology, engineered biological entities for ROD, the EB. The same Pentagon convergence program of 50 years of digital twins. They're using it right now. So, okay. This is the gentleman that we've been highlighting here on the channel. And I appreciate his candor. He's straightforward. And here's the thing. Anytime you got people up here that are talking about anything, you have to be the one to check it yourself. You should not just be listening to anybody, myself included, and take it somebody's word for it. So what brought my attention to him, hang on, was not his fancy screenshots. So, wearable medical device detects fake disabled recipients. This is what brought my attention to him. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. Nope. So, we're going to watch a little bit of your Social Security disability benefit videos with your lawyer here. And I want to say thank you again to this creator because he's been relatively helpful. All right, here we go.
All right, everybody, it is super duper late. It's 2:01 a.m. Let's get into it. Basically, here's what you need to know. All right, bottom line is this. There are technologies being released in the marketplace that are wearable. What does wearable mean? You can put it on your body. If I look a little weird all over the place, it's because I just got out of the shower. I've been working all day. It is now 2:01 a.m. Let's get into it. Devices. Lots of different reports from different medical groups, not just in this country. This one was, I believe, from Europe. But the bottom line is I've been reading through these wearable devices that help define, figure out, and pick out the severity indicators as to whether or not somebody is severely disabled. Now, here's the big kicker with this whole thing. When it comes to whether or not somebody is severely disabled, the old way was to go to a doctor, get hooked up to their machines, get imaging, have the doctor form opinions, them do tests over years, and then triangulate from that some sort of, diagnostic impression as to where you're at. That's not, in the next 2 to 3 years, what's going to be the standard. The new standard of whether or not an individual is disabled is going to be based off of wearable devices that assess your severity, not just for mental, but also for physical. Let me give you some of the quotes so you understand where this is going, because a lot of you do not understand where CDRs, continuing disability reviews, are going to be going in the future. Now, for those schmucks who said that this was fearful and fear-mongering and blah, 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 I'm so sick of the bullshit, because at the end of the day, these are the individuals who end up hurting the people who want to learn about what the actual future is. And I guess what I realize is this: I don't cheat. I don't have a bunch of Chinese phones lined up on a wall that I pay to go ahead and watch the channel and comment and stuff like that. I don't cheat. I can't. I have to live up to the standard of the Florida bar. That's why I don't have 1 million+ subscribers at this point, because I had to do it the normal way. And so I got to tell you this, it is just one of those crazy things when people are like, oh, well, he has more, so you should blah, 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 blah. No, I am not allowed to, because of the Florida bar, because of my legal license, to do some of the things that these other channels are doing. That's why people come to this channel to find out the truth, the accuracy, the actual statute, the actual citation related to what's going on. So for those of you who get it, I appreciate it. Those of you who don't get it, go somewhere else. I don't care. All right. Here's some quotes about the future of wearable devices. Quote: until now, patients struggling with difficult to treat depression did not have a non-pharmacological therapy option that could be administered at home. That was Linda Carpenter, medical doctor, professor of psychiatry at Brown University. Quote: now we can offer our patients ProLive-RX therapy with continued medical supervision and the convenience of home use. That's Linda Carpenter, again, co-lead investigator of the Mood clinical trial. Okay, next one. This is from her as well. Not only does this product introduce a novel mechanism for non-invasive neuromodulation through its actions on the occipital, okay, I can't read tonight, it's too tired. Occipital, there you go. And, oh, Jesus Christ, hold on, it's too small. In the neural pathways, but it also establishes a new treatment. Hold on, I'm going blind. I've been writing so many briefs that's just like ridiculous at this point. So unless it's a word I pronounce like once a month, it's when it's in size 12 font, it ain't happening. All right, establishes a new treatment paradigm by making evidence-based neuromodulation widely accessible beyond the walls of the specialty clinic. Now, here's another one real quick. For the first time, Americans with depression will soon be able to use prescription brain stimulation device at home. That's from the FDA announcement on the FL-100 device. Just take that in for a moment. Take that in, okay, real quick. For the first time, this is the FDA, Americans with depression will soon be able to use a prescription brain stimulation device at home, okay? So a lot of you, it's decades. No, it's 2 to 3 years. It'll become the standard. Okay. Quote, this FDA approval feels like a real turning point. For years, brain stimulation for depression stayed locked inside clinics. Now it can happen at home with the doctor still guiding the process. That was about the FL-100 neuromodulation headset. Quote, we believe consumer health technologies, apps, wearables, self-diagnosis tools have the potential to strengthen the patient-physician connection and improve health outcomes, Dr. Glenn Stream. Quote, for the first time, really, we're discovering physicians are expressing how much more openness and willingness to consider information about their patients coming from DIY devices. CC Connolly. Over here, it's bigger here. Attune, quote, Attune Neurosciences is building something extraordinary. A deep brain neuromodulator. Oh, yeah. This one. Guys, if you want a company to look up, Attune Neurosciences, they are onto something. I mean, if I had money to invest, they're onto something. I don't, so is what it is. But Attune Neurosciences is building something extraordinary, a deep brain neuromodulation device designed for home use with potential to transform treatment for depression, OCD, pain, sleep, and more. That's the 1 Mile organization. Quote, apps defined as computerized behavioral therapy devices subject to approval by the FDA offer a clinician-administered version of virtual behavioral therapy that patients can utilize outside of synchronous live sessions with their provider from KFF analysis on at-home mental health devices. All right, so some of you don't realize that these take-home devices are going to be the standard in 2 to 3 years. Okay, company will send it out to you. You'll wear it for a while. You'll see if it works. You send it back. If it works, you get a more permanent one, right? They'll have them open and available for people to purchase on the open market. That just will be the standard, okay?
Yep, that's correct. And it is all a component. Pardon me. This is all a component of your remote patient monitoring with your biosignal acquisition for that cyber physical, because your phone doesn't have respiration, muscle activity, or a heartbeat. Remote patient monitoring with your Health and Human Services, CMS, Medicare, Oracle, ITU, everybody. It is a body area network. Patient body area networks, sensing, and there's your Bluetooth and your Zigbee since 2004. Here we are, health monitoring and management using Internet of Things sensing with cloud-based processing opportunities and challenges, 2015. So, 12 years behind, didn't bother to tell anybody but themselves that the FCC has been mandating this since 2012. It's all legal. Scared the crap out of everybody and then told people, slap your wearable on, get on the blockchain. It's just your electronic health records. We got biosensors, but none of your truth or grifters would admit that. They also don't admit how biosensors work or MAC IDs. So here we are at the FCC.gov for ingestibles, wearables, and embeddables. Ingestibles, pills that you can swallow. Wearables, wristwatch devices that have sensors to monitor your heart rate and other vital signs. HOW, please. I'm going to mine crypto with my heartbeat. Use your heartbeat to mine crypto. All right. How it works. When wearing Internet of Things devices like a smartwatch, large amounts of valuable health data are tracked. Okay. What is intra-body communication? A technology that uses the human body as a transmission medium for electrical signals to connect wearable or implantable sensors. Oh. So here we are in 2020 with the Syntech project, and I had a basic question for everyone 3 years ago. I said, that's a Fitbit, right? An Apple Watch, an Oura Ring, whatever. There are no electrocardiogram pads on the chest. There's no galvanic skin response, like little LEDs on the skin. There is no measurement on the skull cap with pads like the Mendy, brain computer interface closed loop headset. HOW. It's magical. I said, no, that's your biofield, your human biofield, your electricity, your biosignals. And everybody went, but I don't have a biofield. And I said, yes, you do. On the National Institute of Health, yes, you do. And that biofield is measuring your electrocardiogram and your electroencephalogram and your magnetocardiogram. So your magnetism, your bioelectricity, and your heart cells and your neurons. That's all your human aura that is now the human biofield. And you would have thought that I set off a nuclear bomb. Nobody anywhere, doctors, nurses, electrical engineers, nobody anywhere, excuse me, would talk about this anatomy, human biology for what it is, in spite of Dr. Becker's work and all these different things that they've been researching and developing this entire time. So then people out there slap their wearable on and they have no idea. They think that in order for them to get your biosignals, that you have to have a wearable or you have to have a pacemaker. So they left out remote patient monitoring. They left out non-contact human activity recognition radar. We don't need you to have something on your hand. We don't need you to be doing anything other than breathing. I don't know why you keep doing that to me. So we have plethysmography, through the wall human activity recognition using radar with ultra wideband. And this is all for things like at-home healthcare, assisted living, HOA, passive radar for opportunistic monitoring and e-health applications, 2018, 2020, ultra-wideband radar applications, indoor positioning, healthcare, surveillance, search and rescue, industrial. IEEE Explore. Yeah. So when did we have all this going on? September 2024. Ultra-wideband radar demonstrated its vital role through various applications in surveillance, search and rescue, health monitoring, and the military. Unlike conventional radars, ultra-wideband uses high frequency, wideband with pulses. Doppler is not a spread spectrum, it's pulsed now, enabling long-range detection and penetrating obstacles, just like Trump said, looking through your skin. Yeah. The discussion includes all those machine learning models, and the primary focus is on the detection, movement, and monitoring of vital signs and non-human classifications in the context of TTW through the wall scenarios. Oh, they can't do it. They don't have it. It's not here. Everyone's an idiot. No one knows what's going on. Well, it doesn't look that way to any of us here on the channel because the normal synergists that attend class for 3 years, they're asleep in the corner. They've seen all this 100 times. I'm serious. And for those of you out there that said, oh, Sabrina is everywhere. Well, I'll tell you why. Because I gave people information like this. I didn't say take my word for it. I said, here, let me show you how they're doing this, HOW, for your radar-based non-contact healthcare, for your sleep apnea, your pacemakers, basic security with the military looking for people holding a gun. It's everywhere. And it's used, like I said, for everything from help I've fallen and I can't get up to things that are more complicated, but it's the same system, free space optical, machine learning, the different stuff for the vehicle to everything. It's all still the Wi-Fi based human activity recognition through the wall with the deep learning. I mean, no matter where I go and what I do, it's the same system. Body area network to all these different networks that they're sensing and ranging, listening to your heartbeat, listening to you breathe. And that's how the cybersecurity is also working. Frequency modulated continuous wave radar, carrier waves, and everybody was hollering about the weather with the Gwen towers. And I'm like, do you people know what, beam steering, beam forming, and all that is? No, of course not. Why would they? See, a lot of times y'all accuse me, and you're those of you that know better, the people that accuse me of being condescending or whatever, those are the people that are gaslighting you. And I tell you all the time, you're not stupid. They lied to you. And when you lie to people about human biology, as in, I don't need a wearable. don't need a tower. All I need is a body. Maybe I got some hardware in the HVAC. Maybe I have a motion sensor. Maybe I have a camera. I got options all day. Because software-defined networking lets and network function virtualization, etc., with Cisco digital network architecture allows them to change a signal in the air on the fly. Welcome to Sosa Mosa Osa Wosa as well. Sensors, trillion sensors for everything. They have Simhumulator, like I told you. They've been playing Sims with human bodies right there in your own house. Yes, but they don't have it. They've been doing this here where you're looking at it. That's why I showed you the other one over here with the IEEE before we go back to Social Security. Hang on. Yeah, that one too. So you have your MIMO, and your Wi-Fi can see you, and everybody's finally talking about that. But over here with the IEEE, 2 years ago, Professor Kildes, same thing, 6G to 7G terahertz band, July 2020. 2008, 2013, nanotransceivers and antennas. Upgrades for the MIMO with all your MAC IDs. Okay. May 2017 with your graphene and your terahertz and your metamaterials, of which there are 40 different types of metamaterials due to all the different types of human bodies and molecules. And these are, I'm telling you, these industries are huge because this is a lot of jobs. And instead of talking about it for what it is and how long, June 2018, there's your MIMO. There's your dynamic ultramassive MIMO 2020. And that's why your other creators were so pissed at me, because they were grifting. They were talking about one part of the system, getting you to pay money to come back over and over again without telling you the rest of the system, and a bunch of them selling you products that actually don't touch the system at all. When the system is based literally on your heartbeat, stop your heartbeat. There's no potion you're going to drink to hide your heartbeat, your blood flow, your biotensegrity, your gait, the way you walk. No kidding. Well, I'll wear a wearable. That ain't going to work either. It has to do with clearances and cybersecurity. You have to be able to feel your own somatosensory nervous system, and mitigation beyond that has to be specific to your environment, to your best ability. Wait till you find out how much law is in place to prevent you from radio frequency jamming different types of networks to block them. And you don't get that yet, some of you, because you've been with the wrong kind of nerds who've been bullshitting you about turning something off in your phone. When the emergency broadcast service was tested in 2023, they were looking for your body area network. Welcome to Network-Centric Warfare 2004. See other videos. So the reason that they are not allowing you to turn off anything in regards to the sensing they're using is because they're not sensing with towers and drones only. They have multiple systems to sense with. And given that the sensing is ubiquitous and pervasive, a sensing world, okay, they don't know, or rather they don't have a way to give you consent because you're on this network here with the vehicle to everything ad hoc on the fly temporarily. Then you're off that network. So you can't give your consent to that network because you're just walking down the street. So to them, because the networks are everywhere and the networks self-heal, change out, move all around as you're moving around, and everybody said, oh, chop down a tower. And I said, that ain't going to do any good. The towers move. You've been in mesh networking and cybersecurity for over a year. Chop down the tower. It'll just go to another access point. That's how it's built. And it self-heals. It doesn't need a human involved to tell it what to do. Welcome to machine learning, your body and you and these mesh networks. 2. So for us here on the channel, when this guy popped up with this, I thought, finally, someone else who said the same thing I did, It's not here. They don't have it. I'm like, yo, Medicare is talking about it, and remote patient monitoring is everywhere. With Health and Human Services, it's the same body area network. You can also do it this way, Healthcare 4.0. And when you do that, click on images. And all you got to do is right here, one of the first research gates, it's a body area network. Every paper, every blog, every article is going to be the same. It's a body area network. Yeah. HOW. How are you getting under the skin with a wearable? Before we go back to Social Security, dude, because there are no pads on the arm and you're not wearing them on the head. You're using the human biofield. We know, because it's anatomical. We know. Here on the channel, we admit to all of our anatomy. The rest of you have been in La La Land. The first work on intra-body communication is 1996. So that's how you mine your crypto with your heartbeat. That's how remote patient monitoring with CMS, Medicare, Health and Human Services, and all these products are working. They do not need you to slap a wearable on, but it helps, and they're willing to buy you one. And that's because all the way back now here, with the remote patient monitoring market share to hit $27 billion 6 years ago, 2018, talking to your doctors about your doctors saving money on malpractice insurance, which is very expensive. According to Berg Insight, more than 3 million people worldwide were being monitored remotely by professional caregivers in 2013. This is most likely from wireless medical services such as the Medical Implant Communication Service, wireless medical telemetry services, and is most often used for critical patient care, whereas the more recently developed, because it's 2018, medical body area network technology can be used to simplify tracking biometrics in more routine patient care. In 2014, the Federal Communications Commission finalized the rules for M-bands with your spectrum allocation and all controlling devices via a wireless link. Oh, here's everything they can do right through you and your blood, bone, and tissue. Oh, and it's mandated worldwide, okay, with your industrial, scientific, and medical and ultra-wideband. There's your narrowband physical, your packets, your ultra-wideband, and the mandatory human body communication. And human body communication uses your body, just your body, as the wire. They turned your body into the wire to avoid cyber biosecurity problems. And since nobody is going to want to get rid of their wireless earbuds and all these other technologies, in December 2020, to safeguard sensitive data, turn flesh and tissue into a secure wireless channel. Now, if you don't know what that is, a secure wireless channel is established by combining authentication and strong encryption for a computer. What is a secure wireless channel in human body communication? A secure wireless channel in human body communication, or body channel communication, is a technology that uses the human body's tissues to transmit data, creating a secure, localized communication path. Unlike radio frequency, body channel communication uses low-frequency electrical signals. What is bioelectricity? The electrical charge and current generated by living organisms, crucial for functions like nerve impulses, muscle contraction, and cellular signaling. Oh, that's amazing. What happens when you disrupt the bioelectrical homeostasis in humans? Disrupting human bioelectrical homeostasis, the balance of electrical signals and ionic gradients controlling cellular function. cells in the body, leads to severe dysfunction, including arrhythmia, epilepsy, chronic fatigue, and cancer initiation. Wow. Disrupting human bioelectricity can break down communication between cells, causing metabolic disorders, immune dysfunction, and accelerated tissue damage due to altered cellular membrane potentials. Yep. They don't know what they're doing. They're confused. They love us. They would tell us. They did. They told themselves. But everybody else said that they don't have electrical anatomy. Everybody else said that the aura wasn't physical. It was spiritual. So they said, you don't have to believe in that. And they scared the crap out of people with religion and aliens and ghost stories. So nobody went there. Everybody went everywhere else. And they just figured, well, they'll tell us. Well, like I keep showing you, they did. Here we are again in 2023 with the biosensors, your graphene-based sensors in health monitoring. Non-invasive is all wireless. Everything listed on the right, they can see wirelessly. Remote patient monitoring. None of this is hidden in cybersecurity. Now, this is a better one. Technologies found in these information of thing or Internet of Things systems. So if you want to go to sensors and actuators, take one of these, see where they are. Automatic electrical control devices. Now be careful, because when you get in here, you've got some that are going to be standardized for household use, industrial engineering, robots, etc. You want to be looking for the biological side, which is probably going to be somewhere over here. Digital twins. Looks like generic IT. Oh, apologies. I did that wrong, I think. Yeah. So, Internet of Things and digital twins with the ISO standards and the IEC. And creation date 2017, chairperson until 2028. Says it's being supported administratively by the International Electrotechnical Commission. On their website, serve as the focus and proponent for JTC1 standardization program on the Internet of Things, digital twin, and their related technologies. So what does that mean? It means they're going to work. They're still deployed and deploying right now today. That's what that means. Here's your cybersecurity, and then you're going to go through all sorts of smart everything everywhere, what you can do with the Internet of Things in the healthcare industry. Remote patient monitoring. Yep, that's what CMS Medicare has said. Yep. And of course, SSI, smart healthcare, wireless implantables, cardiac defibrillator, cochlear implants, gastric stimulators, and all the rest that have already been out there for a long time. Your smart dust goes back to the 1970s. Your Internet of Medical Things was tested since the 90s, heavily in hospitals, at-home healthcare. Nobody said anything. So here it is. Now they're going to log into you with a drone over your home. Gartner and Deloitte have the same thing with your blockchain, your cryptocurrency. They're good to go because they're working with your digital twin technologies, as is Siemens Healthineers, electronic health records with health level 7. It's in all the water, the air, the soil, the food for water remediation, cloud-based telemetry, your smart sensors. So they've augmented the soil, the food, and the air. Yeah. Yeah, every day, all the time. Same way they've augmented humans. I said humans. I said humans. Oh, they would never. Okay. I'm so sorry that nobody else could just read. And that's not true. There have been tons of people that have been reading this out loud now for a couple years. So this is your Ministry of Defense, Germany and the UK. Human augmentation, the dawn of a new paradigm. And they'll tell you here that this does not represent official policy, but this is their policymakers getting together, a set of papers, excuse me. And they put together these papers and market share and what they're doing to make the policy going forward. Now, what's interesting about this is when you actually read it, human as platform. Morning, Lucia. Human augmentation is not just tomorrow's business. There are short-term and long-term opportunities that require engagement today. Okay. It shows that there are technologies that could be integrated today with manageable policy considerations. The most transformative technologies, genetics and brain interfaces, currently sit at a low level of technological maturity, but we must be prepared for this to change quickly. Bioinformatics and collection and analytics, encompassing sensors, AI-enabled processing, are particularly important enablers for other human augmentation technologies and warrant focused research and development attention. So you have your gut microbiome, invasive brain interfaces, non-invasive brain interfaces, exoskeletons, pharmaceuticals. We cannot wait for the ethics of human augmentation to be decided for us. We must be part of the conversation now. The ethical implications are significant but not insurmountable. Early and regular engagement will be essential to remain at the forefront of this field. Ethical perspectives on human augmentation will change, and this could happen quickly. There may be a moral obligation to augment people, particularly in cases where it promotes well-being or protects us from novel threats. It could be argued that treatments involving, it's not a vaccine if it requires graphene, processes and gene and cell therapies are examples of human augmentation already in the pipeline. The need to use human augmentation may ultimately be dictated by national interest. Countries may need to develop and use human augmentation or risk surrendering influence, prosperity, and security, national influence, national prosperity, and national security to those other countries who will use human augmentation. National regulations dictating the pace and scope of scientific research reflect societal views, particularly in democracies that are more sensitive to public opinion. Please read with me. The future of human augmentation should not be decided by ethicists or public opinion, although both will be important voices. Rather, governments will need to develop a clear policy position that maximizes the use of human augmentation in support of national prosperity, national safety, and national security. So while the rest of you decline to tell people, yo, 6 years ago, turn your body into the wire. Hey, we're logging in at conferences where we play volleyball. Yo, our high school students are going to be going to college for this. Hey, we know what we're doing. We're protecting your cells, like the cells in your body, from man-in-the-middle attacks and denial of service attacks, which used to only be for computers. But now that we've connected humans with bioelectronic medicine, like what? Electronic tattoos, light wave transdermal patches, RFIDs, biochemical to electromagnetic signals and back and forth, molecular communication, of course, the ye olde radio frequency, the body area networks, the W-band itself, Zigbee, Bluetooth, and your near field channel. Just getting started. So we have to have ways to prevent eavesdropping, black hole century, spoofing, man in the middle. That's your butt on the cloud. I suggest a Kiss My Butt Frog from the Hillbilly Heart. So in order to have that much deployment, you have to actually have people that know how to work a job. In the industrial internet of medical things, your body is the network. Your body is the node. Your body is the antenna. Your body's doing it all. And the way that they route these signals changes depending on whether it's through muscle tissue or fat tissue. See other videos. And they're watching and recording every single neural transmission you've got. So, electronic corridors in the digital ID, smart environment, the Internet of Forest, the Internet of Animals. Yeah. Yep. Additionally, they, meaning doctors and nurses, this is 2018. Hey, you want to save money on medical malpractice insurance? Of course. Well, guess what? Remote patient monitoring market share is going to hit $27 billion in 2020. It's 2018, doctors and nurses. Let's get in on this. Not a problem. Remote patient monitoring market share. Now, this is for all of you that keep dinking around claiming they don't have it. It's not here. Do you know how you get market share? Well, it's a startup. How do you get elongated market share with the right percentiles for your investment portfolios? It's deployed. Yeah. Okay. So that was back in 2018. Check it out. The global remote patient monitoring market valued around 60 billion last year. Let's read it again so you understand you've been lied to. Whether it's security by obscurity, my NDA, it doesn't matter. They had to make decisions for their job. Their job ain't got nothing to do with you. And when you ask them, well, I don't know. Well, that's easy. It's called lying by omission. But did they save money on their malpractice insurance? Sure. And then they're handed down what? What the Federal Register and Congress going to tell them to do? What the FCC is mandated to already be tested and true? Yeah. And supercharge their biosensor development with ARPA-H? Yeah. Wow, that was hard. Not really. Not if you stick with .gov. Not if you know you got 26 years in nanotechnology in every university. Then it's not hard at all. I'm going to mine my crypto with my heartbeat. I know what a Fitbit is. Use it all the time at the gym. Not a big deal. How does it work? Oh, I have no idea. You're crazy. You're a targeted individual. You mean you can still feel your own somatosensory nervous system? He mentioned, you heard ElectRx when he was reading really fast. For those of you that weren't with us for the other presentation, DARPA is using your peripheral nervous system. Well, it's your aura. I don't believe in that. Clearly, you don't believe in your nerves. You don't believe in your heart. You don't being electrical. You don't believe in neurons. But DARPA believes in your peripheral nervous system. And so does Columbia University and the Neuroscience and Mental Health in Parkville, Australia, Johns Hopkins, and of course, MIT. They're everywhere. Purdue. Using the peripheral nervous system as a medium for delivering therapy. That would be wireless drugging. That was in our college textbook, part 2. 2021, we're going to have wireless on-demand drug delivery systems that exploit what you won't talk about. The acoustic waves, electric fields, and magnetic fields that are naturally generated from the human body. Yep. That's exactly right. Ain't it maybe? It's right there. Ultrasound, high frequency, low frequency, magnetic field, electric current, coupling, millimeter wave. Yep. And your body is the node. Your body is the network. Your body is the tower. And they're not giving you access to your own cells underneath your own skin. No access for you. Just like we started out with TruthStream Media, we're going to sell back to you your own creativity, artwork, intelligence, whatever. And in the same way, they're going to sell back to you your ability to feel your own skin. Your peripheral nervous system is not something you can drink a potion away, put on a wearable. Ain't going to work. And they know that. That's why they won't talk about MAC IDs professionally. They continue to act like a bunch of toddlers. That's because they're hiding this. See, these artificial neural networks are air molecules on crack. Your digital twin is a digital copy of you, a network of whatever it needs to be at the time of what you're doing, what you're breathing, what you're thinking 24/7. 50 years at the Department of War right now today. So when it came time in 2012 to turn over all of the different pacemakers and systems, not a big deal, including the wearables, not a big deal. Vital signs down telephone lines, 2004, ITU, not a big deal. But to the TI people, they're still sitting around right now watching 60 Minutes. Now, we're coming on 2 hours here. Do you see how embarrassing this is? You see we're still in our time machine? Because they don't want anyone to bother them going to work. And they've already done it. They've augmented the atmosphere. They've augmented the water, the soil. They're just going to log into you with bioelectronic medicine whenever they feel like it. Load balancing bodies. They've been doing it since the COVID and ongoing. So now when you hear this man continue, and I'm going to click over for bits of his other 2 videos that are more recent, I hope you can appreciate his attitude. And this guy's a lawyer. He probably doesn't know crap like in the way that I do about, MAC IDs or sensor systems. And his attitude is the same with you. Now, do you know why that is? He explained to you he can't afford to buy bots. So he has to tell you, this is where it is in the congressional whatever There are different types of codes for Medicare, disability, continuing disability, all these different acronyms that are specific to disability, Medicare, SSI, etc. So he doesn't have time to sit there and play around and worry about optics and, are your fees hurt? He's a lawyer. It is or it's not. Really? Yeah, okay. So for me, coming from internet security, I'm like, yo, it either is or it's not. Oh, it's tethered to the power grid. Of course it is. Oh, you guys didn't tell anybody because you're busy saving money or making money on it. Oh, I see. Okay. So it's okay to make fun of the people on my channel and yell at innocent people 2 years ago. And now you're just going to sit there nice and quiet going, well, it's deployed. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, that was kind of our point 4 years ago. It is or it isn't. You're 12 years behind. So the answer to everything is 42, right? Okay. That means the military is 42 years ahead of you. Can we talk about it now? Can we stop pretending that the near field channel never existed and that the aliens are going to come and get everybody? Because the wearables are with the FCC and the embeddables that use the nanotechnology with the nanobots as well. That's all well known in Harvard, Vermont, Life Extension Technology, Dr. Michael Levin. Can we please be real about what our disabled people, our deaf, our blind are being told, as well as our elderly and people who are not on disability and they just have a pension? What about all the people in mental health? Wait till they find out their opinion of their counselors, psychologists, psychiatrists. That ain't going to mean anything. That wearable is what they're primarily using for mental health for a while now. And I noticed that a lot of people like it, the Sense8 wearable, etc. Welcome to your digital twin. This is where the decision will be made. Your neurons. You don't even have to open your mouth. Prosthetics. They figured out how to read the inner monologue with an electroencephalogram. Not a problem. So back to our attorney. And I hope this helps you, YouTube. I really do.
Now, why is this a little scary? Well, the SSA is becoming hyper automated with innovation, right? Frank Bisignano, the new commissioner, yada, yada. The way we used to look at impairments, I'm just going to focus on the mental ones because it's super late right now. I'm not going to focus on the physical ones. The way we used to focus on mental impairments was the DSM-5, although it's been through many versions. The DSM-5 recognizes the major depressive order requiring at least 5 of 9 key symptoms present nearly every day for at least 2 weeks. At least one being depressed mood or loss of interest / pleasure, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And they have different categorical assessments for severity, mild, moderate, severe. And then there's, of course, an extreme category beyond severe, but that requires extra things on top of it. Mild, few if any symptoms beyond the minimum required for diagnosis, typically around 5 symptoms. Symptoms are distressing, but manageable. Moderate, symptoms and or functional impairments fall between the mild and severe, often 6 to 7 symptoms in research applications. Distress is more noticeable and daily activities become noticeably harder. Severe, substantially more symptoms than required, often 8 to 9, with intense, seriously distressing, and unmanageable symptoms that markedly interfere with social, occupational, or other functioning. Okay? There's like hopelessness, suicidal thoughts, inability to perform basic self-care, blah, blah, blah. So the point is, the SSA created their own listing versions of these things, right? Depression, 12.04, anxiety, 12.06, PTSD, 12.15, right? They created their listing version of it. Now, here's kind of the bottom line. The way it's done back in the day, meaning right now, is they have this questionnaire that they give you, the Patient Health Questionnaire, right? PHQ-9. Widely used, has a score of 0 to 27 based on a 9-core DSM symptom analysis, okay? So there's 0 to 4, right? Symptoms, you either don't have depression or it's like super minimal. It's less than mild. 5 to 9, you got mild depression. 10 to 14, you got moderate depression. 15 to 19, moderately severe depression. And then 20 to 27, severe depression. Now, remember, usually what they're looking for are things that basically include modifiers or things that include, really spicy particular items, symptoms, signs that show that you're really, really bad, right? So like delusions, hallucinations, loss of pleasure, lack of reactivity to positive events, not understanding the outcome that would come from something that you would do that could potentially harm you. Things like early morning waking where you're freaking out about something, psychomotor changes. You got, very big weight loss, very big weight gain, maybe tons and tons of guilt. which I'm starting to see in a political party as an extreme severe situation. Again, it's just, I don't even want to comment on it. It's just so upsetting at this point. Then you've got more severe things with irritability where people are screaming and throwing things. You've got hyper high risk treatments, resistance. You have, bipolar showing examples where people are arrested, mutism, posturing, fluctuations of lifestyle and therapy that are extreme. Those are the things that they tend to look for as like the big, big moments that define how severe you actually are. And then there's evidence usually related to that that helps with it as well. Now, with that said, there are medical devices coming out. And these medical devices that are coming out can take a lot of readings. And these readings are going to define how disabled you actually are by severity. Now, a lot of people say it's unconstitutional for the SSA to go ahead and require me to go ahead and hook myself up to a machine and blah, 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 blah. That's not how the SSA does stuff. They work on a cultural change to make it acceptable. Okay, let me give you an example. A lot of the technologies that are in these wearable devices are already present in machines at mental health clinics, right? Psychological assessment facilities, behavioral centers, sanatoriums, whatever you want to call them. They're already present, okay? The difference is these devices now are at-home wearable. Some of them can make you better. The kicker is they can do an assessment to figure out exactly what's going on in your head. Oh, I mean, you guys already have seen that, you put a watch on, the watch tells you what's your heart rate, any abnormalities, stuff like that. Yeah, well, now it's a lot more complex than that. If you're thinking like that's the only thing, that's the thing that you wear at home, it is vastly more complex than that. Vastly more complex than that. And, at the end of the day, you have to keep in mind, right? Medical facilities are going to be competing with each other. And a lot of people who want to make a lot of money that don't have big pharma sitting on their back, they're going to try and make a device. They're going to try and sell a device. And then if big pharma buys it and then kills it off, I mean, that's what usually happens. I think that there's going to be a lot of devices released that essentially don't allow big pharma to keep up with it. And they're going to have a problem because a lot of people are going to start to feel a cure. They're going to continue to work. They're not going to go on disability benefits because they're going to want the money. One thing that has helped disability benefits when it comes to the trust fund surviving is that the funds used to pay disability benefits, the system in place, us trusting our money with the government, is total and complete shit. You don't get paid enough. You don't get paid enough to even closely have a basic standard of living. You always hear people talking about they don't have a living wage. You don't have a living wage. You don't have a living wage. Your retirement benefits are shit. Your disability benefits are shit. You don't have a living wage. So just to clarify where things could be at, how do things actually work, whatever. They have, through the cost of living adjustment, eroded the actual amount that you get each year to the point where now you just can't survive on it. It's just a joke. It's so painfully, aggressively horrible. It's as funny as cancer. It is horrible. And so at the end of the day, what's going to happen is, right, they have these new devices coming out. Some people will use them. Some people will actually feel better as a result of using them, and they will continue to work. Why? Because if you make disability benefits pay out that little of money, then people are not going to want to go on them unless they absolutely have to and can't work. So these devices are going to come out, as they already are coming out, and people are going to try them and choose them and see if they're going to help them to be able to continue to work, because the future of disability benefits over the next 5 years is not going to be, yay, I won disability benefits. It's going to be a great, I finally get to have this shitty little check. That's the future of where we're going. Remember, when I started working in this field a long time ago with other law firms, okay, people were ecstatic when they would win their benefits. I mean, some of them still are. Some of them still are. But none of them believe they're getting as much as they should from what they paid in. And the reason why is because of these giant bend points. And basically the poor get a lot of money, the middle class gets screwed, and the rich get totally effed. Okay, that's just the reality, right? It takes the rich and the middle class to afford the poor. That's the reality, okay? That's socialism. Some of you love socialism. I think a 90-10 principle, 90% capitalism, 10% socialism is the way to go. But you all, you figure out what you want to do with it. All right, so what kind of things are in these actual devices, these wearable devices? And we're just doing mental right now because I'm too tired to do mental and physical. Mental impairment, wearable detection technologies. Here we go. All right, there are biosensors for physiological monitoring. These include photoplethysmography. Oh my God, it's a ridiculous word. It is photoplethysmography. I don't even know how to pronounce it. I've heard it a couple of times. It's just not something I use in my daily activities. Photoplethysmography or whatever. It's PHOTOPLETHYSMOGRAPHY. Okay. PPG sensors. That's what everybody else calls them. PPG sensors. But it's one of those words that's like photoplethysmography, whatever. It's just an obnoxious word. And only doctors would come up with that. They're just sitting there like, what do we call this technology? It's got some photo stuff in it. It's got some plethys. It's got some plethys in it and some mo in it. It's got some mo in it and a little graphy in it too. That's pretty good. I'm going to sign myself. It's PPG. Just call it PPG. PPG sensors for the heart rate. I got heart rate variability, HRVs, electrodermal activity, EDA sensors for skin conductance. HRV is particularly useful for detecting depression, for detecting anxiety, and assessing your nervous system responses. Now, why is this important to a bunch of you sitting here going like, oh, that's because these devices are going to create standardized systems that can measure how bad your anxiety, depression, panic attacks, PTSD, bipolar, whatever it is, your schizophrenia, schizoaffective, whatever. They will, in the real near future, be using these devices, as they already are with the clinics, to better define how severe you are. Except this is where the wearable at home part comes in. Now they'll be able to go ahead and have you wear it and see how you are over a longer period, whether it's a week or a month or a couple months, etc. Okay. Devices, smartwatches, Apple Watch, Fitbit, smart rings, or a ring commonly integrate these track indicators. They look into your sleep, they look into your temperature, physical activity, they look into how your mood disorders are changing, what's going on inside you. Then you have inertial activity sensors, right? Accelerometers, gyroscopes, measures movement, right? Whether you can walk, right? A lot of you are going like, oh, I can't really walk that far. Well, they're going to know because the device you're wearing is going to tell them how many steps you took, okay? A lot of you believe that you can go ahead and strap this to your dog. That's going to give some irregular heartbeats, I can assure you. But it was a cute joke. I did enjoy it. With that said, okay, these things are already all over the place. Then you have neurological sensors. That's when we get into where the marketplace is going right now. There's a bunch of prototype devices that are going to market. If I had money to invest in them, I would. So if you guys have money, let me tell you, okay, look up neurological sensors for at-home wearable medical devices. So you have EEG headsets like Muse, Emotive, monitors brain activity to assess cognitive states. Cognitive states like stress, focus, or relaxation. It will know when you are keyed up from anxiety. It will know when you are low from depression. It will know when you have a massive panic attack. Remember, this is you on a day, right? This is you that's anxious, you that's depressed, big spike. That's you basically with the panic attack, boom, 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 right? That's you with bipolar, mood swings, or roller coaster. It's going to be able to tell how bad you get and the severity of so that you have to wait longer. If you opt out of wearing this device, the evidence won't be as strong unless you're using medical devices at a clinic. But again, it won't be as strong as the wearable device because you'll be wearing that for a longer period of time. So just to be clear, this is the direction that this whole thing is going to be going. You can say it's unconstitutional. They can't force me to wear anything. Yeah, true. That's true. But you're going to be used to it because your doctors are going to be prescribing it to you. It's going to show up at your door. You're going to put it on. You're going to put it back in the box and mail it back once it's been used and done. It'll collect a bunch of information, shoot it up to the cloud via cellular, and there it is. Okay. Munchkin Go. Thank you. So here's what you need to know. Basically, things are a changing once again at the Social Security Administration, and they are huge. There was a notification released yesterday, which I was going to do yesterday night, but again, it was like 2 a.m. by the time I would have finally been ready because, as you know, I'm America's most viewed, subscribed to, and clicked on Social Security disability attorney. So if you need disability benefits, I'm one of the people you're probably calling. So either way, a little bit of a cough there. Now, here's what you need to know. News release. This is directly from the highest levels of the SSA. Why? Because we already know some of the top level people who have commented specifically on why this is happening. It is official release March 12, 2026 for immediate release from the press office, but we know this has reached the absolute highest levels and was put in place by the highest levels of the SSA. Let me read to you real quick. Social Security Administration brings medical continuing disability reviews in-house. Strategic decision offers greater federal accountability and relief for states to focus on faster disability claim adjudication. All right, so just to summarize what all that shenanigan means, it means that the SSA going forward will no longer have your claim be audited, okay? Will no longer have your claim be audited by the state-based groups known as DDS. Why is that? Well, it's pretty obvious. Trump can't rely on Democrat states to not do fraud, right? Minnesota, massive fraud. California, massive fraud. Maine, massive fraud. New York, massive fraud, et cetera, et cetera. So at the end of the day, the states, certain states can't be trusted. And again, I'm not trying to be mean to the D side. It's just the greatest fraud that's ever existed against the elderly, the retired, the disabled children is occurring because of one particular political party. So it just is what it is. You know what I mean? It's you can try and get around that all you want, but just you shouldn't because you want to be somewhat ethical as a human being. You know, let's read it real quick. Baltimore, Maryland. The Social Security Administration today announced the agency will transition the processing of medical continuing disability reviews. So think supplemental security income, think disabled adult child, think Social Security disability insurance, think anything with a disability medical attachment review on it, okay? So we will transition the processing of medical continuing disability reviews from State Disability Determination Services, DDS, to its federal processing site called Disability Case Review, known as All right, let's get into this, people, real quick. Here is what you need to know about the categories of essentially, let's just call it things that will make you more likely to lose your benefits in the future. And the focus of this video is to focus on the new AI technologies that are coming out and how those AI technologies are likely to bias your ability to continue to receive your benefits and even be found disabled. So let's just go through some of the basic data here real quick. Excuse me, I'm just still a little bit sick and dying a little bit every day. So here's the deal. Okay, as you know, the first group of people that are most likely to be reviewed and potentially lose their benefits are those that are in the MIE category, medical improvement expected. Okay, so every 6 to 18 months, they do a review, They're very likely to go ahead and take away those. Why is this chair not going forward? Take away those benefits first. Okay, the people in the MIP, medical improvement possible, MINE, medical improvement not expected, those two groups less likely. Next group is the age groups. Okay, people that are on SSI, very high likelihood to get reviewed. Especially if they are in the younger, under 18 or under 50 category. Same thing for SSDI people. If you are under 18 or under 50, high likelihood that you'll be reviewed more aggressively and potentially lose benefits. Then you have program type. SSI has significantly higher rates of cessation, which means they take away the benefits, okay, than SSDI. So just to be clear, has higher cessation rates compared to your regular disability program. About 9 to 11% of adults, 25 to 30% for children. So if you're a child on SSI benefits, very likely that you're going to be reviewed, very likely that you're going to lose benefits going forward. I know a lot of people, they had benefits as a child, they lost the benefits, and they expect them to just automatically be returned on. We don't live in that world anymore. That's the old way, okay? Now, with that said, let's talk about impairments. There are different impairments that are likely to have higher cessation rates, which is where they take away your benefits. They cancel them because you've had improvement or you're cured or you're fixed or whatever. Okay. Neoplasms, cancers. There's a lot of neoplasms and cancers that either end your life or basically you can, some of them go get treatment and then you get better and then you don't need disability benefits anymore. The leukemias, testicular cancers, transplants, multimodal therapies, remissions, options, those are the ones where you're just going to lose benefits because you're going to go on them. When you get the cancer, you get the treatment, you're treated, now you're good. They kick you off the benefits, you go back to work. Respiratory system diseases, very high likelihood of basically being a type of category of impairments that will be reviewed in the future aggressively and remove benefits in the future. So just so you know about neoplasms, about 50 to 65% of those individuals when it comes to neoplasms and cancers where they improve, well, technically all of them where they improve, but the types of cancers that can equate to improvement, about 50 to 65% of those individuals go through CDR reviews and have a loss of benefit situation. Respiratory system disease, 45 to 70% due to improvements from treatments and lifestyles. So if you're like a COPD person that was found disabled way back in the day, you are the second highest category of likely to be reviewed and then kicked off of benefits, okay? So, just if you have a friend on, claiming COPD and they haven't been working forever, we all know they tend to get better to some degree, maybe not amazing, but they tend to get better. Please remind them to enhance essentially their effort towards proving that they are severe by going to the doctor, showing, etc. And remember, a lot of people, if they haven't worked for 10 years and then you put them in a work environment, they're going to get worse. But they're not worse right now because they're not working. Okay, so some failed work attempts, always a good idea. Then you have basically digestive and circulatory system diseases. A lot of those are not necessarily curable right now. Some of them are, but a lot of them are more manageable with medications, or temporary. So just a lot of those individuals, circulatory issues, digestive issues, etc., they're now falling into the category of people who become better and they're not as severe. Now, a lot of people back in the day for digestive problems, having to go to the bathroom all the time, or circulatory issues, pressure in your veins and arteries and stuff like that. A lot of those people back in the day, they'd get on it, they'd sit on it, they'd improve, but nobody would do anything. It was what it was. That is not the case anymore. Digestive people, circulatory system people, you are high target priority for benefit cessation removal. Okay. Now, obviously, the category everybody knows. I'm just saying everybody knows. Anxiety, depression, eating disorders, things like that. High probability of people in those categories essentially being reviewed and potentially losing their benefits because it's a lot of subjective stuff. Okay, it's very subjective stuff. Okay. Another one, if you have injuries or trauma to the body, the SSA is taking a very wholesome, I guess that's the wrong term, but they're taking a very overall view of essentially how you're doing considering the types of issues you've had. So if you have back issues, there's a lot of surgeries now where they can do treatments. They don't even put you to sleep now. I don't know if you guys know this, but a lot of the new treatments for back surgeries, the high-end stuff, they don't even put you to sleep for them. They don't. You are awake during the surgery, and they fix a bunch of issues. So back spine disorder people, just so you know, the new surgery is coming down the pike over the next 3 to 4 years. They're going to not only be able to fix your back, but they're going to be able to do it while you are awake, and you're going to be watching the nurses and the surgeons walking around you. So just as a heads up, musculoskeletal, back people, hip people, etc. A lot of those things can be fixed, especially with the new surgery techniques that are coming out. Okay. So just to be clear, these are your generalized categories that they traditionally look at and that are going to be particularly spicy for people going into the future. Now, with that said, I want to make something pretty clear here. Okay. There are conditions that you will likely see a bias against when it comes to AI-oriented adjudications, AI-oriented rulings. Because remember, they're using a lot of AI to now search through essentially what is going on with your body, what's going on with you, and looking for symptoms and signs with whatever techniques it can. So here are some of the things that I just know are going to be not as likely to be found disabled or able to keep disability benefits in the future because of what the doctors are going to be saying and what the AI picks up when they look at it. Things like depression, MDD, major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, PTSD, bipolar, schizophrenia, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic disorder, personality disorder, some of the autism, schizoaffectives, dissociatives, all that jazz. I just want to be clear with you that that is the number one category where you are going to be seeing AI have a heavy hand in essentially denying people going forward. So I just want you to kind of understand that somebody is right now bleeping the hell out of my ring system. Let me see what's going on. Okay, that's why. So I just want you to understand ahead of time that this is a situation where going forward, the people in the mental categories are extremely likely to have a much more difficult time being found disabled. The next category of individuals that are likely to have a bias against them are the neurological people. So these individuals are having a lot of new medications come out, which make their cognitive abilities significantly better. And B, they're going to have a cure for a lot of them within the next 10 years. And you're going to say, no, they don't. No, they won't. You're a dinosaur. I love you. I give you hugs and kisses, but you're a dinosaur. 10 years, many of these will be cured. Okay. It just is the way it is. Okay. Things like epilepsy, seizure disorders, MS, chronic migraine headaches, neuropathy, peripheral neuropathy, some of the more mild traumatic brain injuries, cerebral palsy, concussion syndromes, right? Narcolepsy, Parkinson's disease in the earlier stages, especially with the earlier stages. Once it gets farther down, it's rougher. Some of you are going to say, there's no way. How dare you? There's no way. Yeah, just to be clear, many of these neurological disorders in the future are going to be cured. It's not going to take that much time. And it's a beautiful thing. But when it comes to somebody having to go back to work, some of you want to, some of you don't want to. I get it. Totally get it. But shit is what it is. They're going to be cured. You're going to be on the train towards getting a cure if you are willing to take the pill. Once they have a bunch of people that are cured, you're going to be sitting there going like, you know what? Maybe I go work. You know what's going to really convince a lot of you to take cures that come out? I'm going to be real straightforward with you. Trust funds depleting means you get less per month. You don't get enough per month as it is. You get less per month in the future than even the amount you get right now. You're going to be lining up for the cure. That's just the reality of it. And I don't say this is a positive or negative thing. Just you're going to be lining up for the cure. All right. Next one, musculoskeletal disorders. So pain is a tricky thing, because some people feel pain more than other people. I remember when I was in college, there was one kid, he could like put his hand over a flame. He could eat the most spicy things on earth and be totally fine. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. I think that that's not a superpower. I think having like a complete, loss of senses on your body is like the opposite of a superpower. To me, that's like great. Somebody can hurt you and you not really care and feel it. To me, that's no, you learn from pain. You learn from injury, So anyways, and I'm not trying to pick on the fibros. I'm not trying to pick on the fibromyalgias. I'm not trying to make some Kentucky statements right now, but let me just say, top of the list. I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? Okay, let's see. Fly Away Forever did a $2 donation. Super, thank you. What about POTS, CRPS, dysautonomia? So here's the deal. Those are not so much on the immediate list, but I would say within 15 years, you're going to be seeing a lot of medications, therapies, etc. Because remember, we're so used to, as a Western civilization group, everything's like take your medication or go to therapy and let them stretch you out. There's going to be all kinds of different types of things that they do in the future that, they're going to put you in a vat of something. You're just going to soak. It's just, there's all kinds of different things that they're going to be doing in the future. They're going to have.
So what he is talking about is what you're looking at here. Your med beds are your terahertz network. I've shown the papers on the channel. They already have them in the hospitals in which they log in to your intra-body communication with the Internet of Medical Things in the hospital as well as anywhere else, at-home healthcare. And they're going to make a change to your cells. And that's why he's listing off so many different things that will be cured. What is this called? Healthcare 4.0 or Precision AI Healthcare. Using artificial intelligence to analyze multimodal data genetics, imaging, and those electronic health records to deliver highly personalized, preventative, and targeted treatments. Welcome to your digital twin. Welcome to your remote patient monitoring. Welcome to the future, because it's here. And this is, excuse me, what has been deploying since 2014. Whether here, for me at least, I go through the electronic health records, the bioinformatics, the ITU, the market share, the different companies out there, it doesn't matter. The Brain Initiative, the Cures Act. This is Healthcare 4 and 5.0. Using your digital twin, your genetics, it's called omics, O-M-I-C-S, and it is standard. It is standardized worldwide with health level 7. Which, if you don't know what health level 7 is, that's because that goes back to your fire and your ontology and all these databases that they've got all throughout their systems for fast health interoperability for your health records, going across that W-band blockchain, going through the medical body area network. Health level 7 is what we've had deployed as our technical standards for health information exchange between software applications. The name is a reference to the 7th layer in that open systems interconnected model we're always talking about. And the standards are produced by Health Level 7 International, an international standards organization, and adopted by other standards issuing bodies such as ANSI and your International Organization for Standardization. And when you go through Health Level 7 here, you're going to find out they've been here a long time. And Health Level 7 has been upgrading with things like fast healthcare interoperability. You're digitizing your healthcare system, burn down the fax machine with Medicare and HHS. And they're good. They're just deploying like normal this entire time, every year, appropriately with the right standards and oversight from both our national as well as international dialogues with the IEEE, the ISO, and the ITU. So now we are at the close, 2.5 hours. And to those of you that are still struggling and you're still having trouble thinking that you can turn it off, you can sign a petition. No, you cannot. This legislation has already been finished in Congress. And we tried really hard. For those of you that want to know more about the ITU vital signs down telephone lines, that's biotelemetrics and LoRa here on the Odyssey channel. Okay. But the big one that you're going to want to take a look at is here with our FDA consent show that I did with Buma as well. It's got your physiological signal-based entity authentication for your body area networks. Your digital twin is a copy of the immune system with molecular, cellular, tissue, organ, and body level logins with the network physiolome. More of your, as I already showed, your different market share, government accountability office, digital twins going forward. And here's where the problem is. They don't need your right to consent because they waived it. And they did it with an institutional review board waiver or alteration of informed consent for minimal risk clinical investigations, a rule by the Food and Drug Administration on December 21st, 2023, and the rule is effective January 2024. Now, before you freak out and you're like, oh, that's so unfair and how dare they? Well, that's because your nerds didn't tell you that they've been busy playing with this biosensing data, scraping biosignals for IARPA and DARPA and ARPA-H for over 10 years on the GitHub. And they can't give you consent because you can't flip out your phone while you're walking across the street. You're inside of some place for drop that location, neural advertising, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. So this is why those of us here on the channel have tried for 4 years to get those of you out there to admit what is already deployed, because Social Security ain't playing. And I know why that is. So do the people here on the channel who've been studying, because we knew and we know between the Brain Initiative, the Cures Act, and really the truth of it all is right here. You will be augmented. They have 15 years of conferences, human augmentation conferences. You click on past conferences, 16 years now, 2010. And your human augmentation laboratories at universities worldwide, like the College of Engineering in Michigan State, Georgia Tech, we're going to run into MIT because we always do, don't we? And then your GitHub, of course. So while you're busy looking for underground laboratories, they're going to different universities worldwide for 16 years to augment humans. And that is why when we are not aware of what is actually deployed out there, we get caught unaware and then taken advantage of. And the way the United States has run this for decades, cigarettes, opiates, geoengineering, whatever, they already did it. So now you deal with it. Yeah, that's where we are. And that's where I hope you can hear me. No matter who you are, you're in the same boat that the targeted individual community was in, because nobody told them for 15 years what was going on. And so watching 60 Minutes, pardon my nose, complain about anomalous health incidents on the TV. Meanwhile, SSI is deploying. Students at Cambridge are learning all about the Internet of Bio-Nano Things, biosensors, wearables, drug delivery wirelessly, microfluidic systems, bioelectronics, biocyber interfaces, and neural interfaces, molecular communication. See, this is a university syllabus, okay? With the Internet of Things, the Internet of Everything, the Internet of Vehicles, the Internet of Money, the Internet of Space Things, and the Internet of your digital twins. And you are being told, oh, it's an anomalous health incident. That's because it's your new remote patient monitoring healthcare with biomedical engineers and bioelectronic medicine with point of care biosensing. Digital twins with your government accountability office. Internet of Medical Things and Healthcare 4.0 back in 2023. Yes. So they didn't deploy a new vaccine with graphene, and graphene is not the only metamaterial. It's one of 4T. They had a plan that they fully deployed back in 2014. Doctors and nurses knew, they didn't say anything. Countries knew they were going to augment their population. And as far as the military goes, and those of you that still don't get it, when we talk about brain-to-brain interfaces and the ability to overwrite human tissue and human neurons, that is a system that is called DARPA, Non-Surgical Neurotechnologies N3. This is your same IIT-SEC with 50 years of digital twins 2 years ago. These are living weapons, enhanced limbs, exoskeleton, pain immunity, synthetic blood with your Air Force Research Laboratory and your DOD. Just because we can, should we? Well, if we don't, China's going to do it anyways. We'll still be worrying in 30 years, but China's going to do it. In this same presentation, enhanced physical and mental abilities, greater military strength, and better survival. Now, this human augmentation for the Living Weapons program with the Air Force Research Laboratory to the biohacking and the different ways that people are going to have enhanced intelligence, enhanced sensing, disease-free bodies, sports optimization, digital hardware enhancements, enhanced strength ubiquitous and continual monitoring. That's your remote patient monitoring. Digital biometrics, extreme aging, life extension technology, optimized diet, and increased attractiveness. The market share for human augmentation is back here in 2019 out to 2027 for this particular slideshow from our ITU and our appropriate committees for all of this standardization. Using the same cyber-physical systems I keep bringing you back to, where you're the human in the box connected to the power grid with your Department of Commerce. No aliens, no reptilians, human-to-human betrayal, augmenting humans, whether you like it or not. Now, we've had this discussion with this truth or grifter baloney for 4 years here on the channel. And I said, you got to be able to feel your peripheral nervous system. And everybody else said, no, we don't. We could just slap a wearable on. Oh, they already got away with it. Oh, woe is us. And I said, well, I'll tell you. When you have this much deployment and they are forcing augmentation 6 years ago, oh, how did they do it? They lied to everybody and said, go get injected with your new biocyber interface Whoops, I forgot. They told you grandma was dying, and that if you didn't go get your new biocyber interface with your graphene healthcare, that grandma would die. That is what they told you. They didn't tell you this had already been deployed. They didn't tell you they paid for it with your tax dollars. They told you it was some rando disease. They had no idea, argued about it for the last 6 years, deploying human augmentation. Now, right now, because those videos are from 2 days ago, with our attorney over here, the first set of people that are being told these Social Security recipients will be the first to lose their benefits. As you continue to listen, if you choose to, and you should, whether or not you're on SSI doesn't matter. Because the rest of you that are healthy for now, the moment you're not, you will have bioelectronic medicine or you're done. Now, I'm sorry to tell you, those of you that still don't get it, this is human augmentation with synthetic biology. That's why it's the Internet of Biological or Nano Things. They're not asking your permission. They waived your right to be under your own skin. And everybody let that go on. So guess what they're doing now? If you want your benefits, you will be augmented. Oh, as was always the plan, as was always deployed this entire time. So now the people, and there are very few of us that survived a lot of this testing in the 80s, 90s, zeros, but the few of us that have, that you still call names and we're on the fringes if we're alive, doing the best we can. Our benefits, if any of us have any, they get cut off the moment we say no to nanotechnology, nanomedication, or being augmented against our will even further to get medical treatment. Why? Because it's precision AI healthcare. It's healthcare 4.0. This is their new system. Do you want medical treatment? Yes or no? Well, I'm going to the hospital. Well, then you will be dealing with the same intensivist and AI system. I'm sorry, the doctor artists, the respiratory people, they all talked about it. They said, what is this AI intensivist, precision AI healthcare? You didn't get to choose, did you? No, the nurses didn't get to choose. The intensivist with the AI decided who lives, who dies. And you all said, oh, we're going to walk the Fauci across the stage and clutch my pearls. What have we done? Yeah, but you're deploying it right now with Medicare. You're deploying it right now with SSI. You were deploying it last summer with RFK on the congressional floor with agentic AI to call United, or working with a United Healthcare for CVS and Walgreens. What did you tell the American people? Aliens, bullshit, religious fear mongering, and now war. Ongoing. By the way, did you want medical assistance for whatever's going on? Welcome to nanotechnology, the terahertz spectrum, logging in under your skin, maybe with a robot, maybe with a human. So this is what happens when we choose to jam our head in the sand after 15 years of targeted individuals and all the rest of us that were screaming back during SRA. You said, no, it's Satanists. So you mean to tell me the entire medical community is satanic? Excuse me. I appreciate your sentiment. I do. Believe me. Intimately, I get it. But this is a different issue. Because when you go down that road and you're screaming religion and aliens, everybody looking at you like you got 3 heads still, even though they're pretty unnerved. But when you layer it this way, did you want, for example, I got cut off from all of the remainder of my medications. This is all I have left, and albuterol inhaler, because that's all I've had for years after I figured out different things with my own medical care. And they told me last year, you will take a nanotechnology, steroid, and all this stuff. And I said, no, that is nano. No. They said, well, no more albuterol for you. I said, I've had asthma since I was 16. That's right. So you're going to take all these updated medications. And I said, those are nanotechnology-based medications. No. What are my options? Well, then you're done. Now, that was me. So I never brought it up much. I'm like, well, whatever. Now it's everybody. Okay. So me, Sabrina, I was tested on at birth, medical records, Okay. And I, all my life, don't want anything to do with a machine under my skin, a human logging in. I know exactly how it works with the human body. Just got to put the biology back that none of you are willing to talk about in your jobs, with the basics. You just continue to fly circles going, there is no aim and fire. Nobody knows what's going on except the aliens. And I don't think that is going to work. I'm hoping it won't, but whatever. I mean, the more that people don't want to talk about what they're using to log into the human body's electrical and magnetic fields, the worse it's going to be for everybody. They're not going to give you a choice. They're going to log in under your skin because all the crypto people and all the people that are doing these jobs have been very quietly deploying, going to school, getting careers. So let's think it through. If you're one of these people that's doing this, you're saving the world. You're protecting the environment and life extension technology. That is what you're looking at here with the FCC.gov, the ARPA-H, the NNI. These are actual government.gov institutions running these systems. Every single one of them. Where are the aliens? Where's the Reptar? Welcome to human augmentation. Synthetic biology style. All right, so here's where you'll scream, what do we do? Well, we're already past the point, given we live in a biosphere of, we're going to turn it off. We're going to use it for good. No, you're not. Sorry, it's engineering. We got problems. And when it comes to defending ourselves in our own home, I just wish to point out the drones are heading to California. That's great. What do? Sit there and wait on what? Well, maybe the Golden Dome, maybe NCS Wicks with FEMA. I don't know. How do we defend ourselves in our own home against a new warfare that's not tanks, planes, and guns? I don't know. Thank you so much, military and everybody else using this technology for 30 years. It's great. It's so nice of you. Are we? I mean, I got my black sweatshirt on. Should I just go put a red shirt on? Okay. That's where I'm at with this. 70 years of electronic warfare, and not a one of you could say, yo, this is deployed with your peripheral nervous system. And maybe, like, that's what it is. This is what we're doing. Bioelectronic medicine, nanotechnology. Hello? No. Okay. So now the most needy among us, if you will, the disabled, the deaf, the blind, the people that have already been harmed by all these technologies, when you listen to him in these 3 videos, you will hear it very clearly. You're going to get augmented. And if you choose not to augment, well, then you're on your own. Why? Because you refuse their health care. Now, those of you that keep saying this is the way of the future, and it's all benevolent, and you love everybody, how come nobody knew about this except those of you working the jobs? And why did our government spend all its time psychologically operating on the public and narrative driving away from all of this? I'm not the only one. I just happen to be one of the most outspoken, according to some people. But yeah, because I refuse to give up on my fellow person. To me, this is just way, way past the point of cruel, sadistic. There's no reason to lie about it. It's right there. There's market share everywhere. And instead, what's a MAC ID? I have no idea. 40 years old with Xerox, high school students in computer science have to learn about it, but you don't know. Sure. What's a PicoNet? Oh my God, the Bluetooth is coming from the global information grid, now the DODIN. Nope, it comes from the graveyard and nobody has any idea except me with my magical app on my phone, which is not government off the shelf and doesn't actually listen to any network that would be helpful to the body area networks. But I'm going to tell all my friends to buy my stuff, whatever it is, and they can block their MAC IDs. Can you tell me how that's helpful? Because the first time they try that in drone warfare or a different type of electronic warfare and it fails, are you going to be close to somebody who grifted out of their money when their loved one is laying on the floor? It's just so funny until the warfare is done with the fog of war. So I know that sounds harsh, but we have got to educate with empathy. And those of you that already know, and like people like me on Social Security, I heard about these changes with Precision AI Healthcare 3 years ago on the AM radio. And that's one of the other ways that I started looking. I'm like, is there anything else? Did you guys change out anywhere else? A different system? Are you doing something different with Health and Human Services? No. The Golden Dome and all these systems are all the same, and they're all driving off of human biosignals. No tower required. So there are some speaking videos that I'm going to post here on the YouTube. YouTube, I hope this is appropriate. I tried not to cuss. I also tried to keep it just the papers themselves. I'm going to list them in the description. They should be clickable now. Apologies for that. We had to fill out some extra things on the YouTube. And then for those of you that are looking for new data, these will be done on a live that I'm going to do like usual on X, Rumble, and Odyssey. And for those of you here on the YouTube, you can take any one of these articles, source it for yourself, spectrum.ieee.org, etc. You could just take one of them. This is what Babes with Brains on the YouTube does. They'll take just one, and then they'll read it out, tell you where it comes from and all the specifications of the organization, etc. And you could just do that. Help people understand biosensors are made of your own cells. Biosensors are not made of little RFID chips you can pull out of the body. Those are old. Those are from the 80s. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people keep faking people out that way. It doesn't work that way. Biosensors are made of your own nucleic acids, proteins, your whole cells, your own cells. Not nanotechnology, not radio frequency, not graphene. Just your cells by themselves. Because cells communicate naturally. That's the molecular communication. So you got your sensors that can use anything you see here. Electric, magnetic, force, torque, chemical, acoustic, humidity, motion. And then it uses enzymes, immunosystems, tissues, organelles, or whole cells. So you can't cleanse all your DNA, your cells, your bloodstream. The plethysmography the lawyer was talking about, that's just your heartbeat. How are you cleansing your heartbeat? By drinking something? Okay. So there's a lot of fraud out there still, and it's not on accident. That's the part of things I'm trying to get you to understand. Counterintelligence has been doing great. They're running the wrong tip of the spear, and they're running everyone into the ground because they don't want anybody to know that they're using your peripheral nervous system. They're good to go. They've been fully deployed since 2017 amongst themselves. They're not afraid. They're not worried. They know they're using the peripheral nervous system. They know they have a login under everyone's skin with CMS Medicare. The doctors and nurses have been helping them do it every step of the way because it's mandated by health level 7. So now here we are, interbody communication with the industrial internet of medical things. And not a one of you could say nano.gov and fcc.gov for ingestibles, the smart pills, all of your wearables, including your ad hoc networks, and the nanotechnology doctors will inject into you. Or no medical care for you. Welcome to Precision AI Healthcare. Wireless on-demand drug delivery. By the way, in our 2 college textbook set, the second college textbook, they started this in 2014 in our senior homes. So they didn't start testing on young people. They started testing on our senior citizens. Then they deployed the convent on everybody. And now here we are in 2026 with Social Security and Medicare subscribers being told, well, you're going to take your medicine, bioelectronic, synthetic biology, so we cure you so you can go back to work. If you don't want to take it, no disability for you. Human augmentation too. Here on the channel, we tell you all the time, heart fire up, start getting back in touch with that human anatomy and learn to discern with your nervous system, the band shell effect in your house, haptic ear needs, mitigation needs with clean water, the different ways that signals come and go through your home. Whether or not you have Wi-Fi don't mean shit. The electromagnetic spectrum is huge. Dimite Domini, pardon me, but it's true. Sorry for cussing, YouTube, but it's true. The whole entire electromagnetic spectrum is what they're using. They're not just using your Wi-Fi. So you can get rid of everything in your house and go fully wired. The signals are still passing through. By the way, the #1 network is another body area network. You're going to keep everybody out of your house forever and never leave your house again too. Now, do you see why I was so pissed at the very beginning when nobody would talk about this? They were too busy going to work and gaslighting everyone else. Well, we're going to do something, then you better start now. And as far as what are we going to do? Again, the only thing I can see, and this is just my opinion, take it or leave it, is we have to work human to human, coherence and concurrence, or else the magnetism, the electricity, and all these networks walk right over top of whatever you're doing. And that includes the load balancing with people who are all shot up with bioelectricity and biohacking. But remember, like he said, if they can heal you in 2 days, heal your cancer, in a one surgery, heal your back pain, come on, who's not going to want that? So they have a remote login, big deal. They've been doing that with pacemakers since 1999. Okay? And for those of you that are like me, no is my answer. I don't want any human or machine under my skin. No. Well, we're going to end up down by the river. That's what they're doing right now. And the reason they're getting away with it as easily as they are is because all of this technology was developed off the back of open air testing on our own population, and not one of them will admit it. They put out the anomalous health incidents on 60 minutes instead of taking the 2 hours and 45 minutes I just did to show you the truth of what they're offering you through the career path of our youth. So take it or leave it. Thank you, YouTube, for your time. This is the big haul. I will have signs and then a short video segment only for the sign, exclusively for the YouTube. And again, thank you for the opportunity. I never even tried the YouTube because I'm just hoping and praying this gets approved. Mark 5:36, amen. Please support one another out there. Remember, your life is precious. You are beloved. There's somebody out there that loves you. They want to hear from you today. Don't wait another minute to be who you truly are. Everybody is beloved because you're breathing. And work together at the level of your human integrity. You still have it. Find it. Wield it. Heart fire up.